Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is Billy Murton.
Nice.
Oh, look how much salt went on them. I'm gonna die.
If you're from the UK, you'll probably be familiar with Billy. He has been dropping sections for years now. He's part of the Capital Rollers crew who release clothing, wheels, and put on events like the LDN Jam. He has also been recently popping up in What's Brewing, which is the kind of new UK rollerblading reality YouTube show. I think that's an accurate description, possibly. And on top of that, he's also sponsored by Rollerblade and has just dropped a new section for Rollerblade or Blank. I'm really confused by that whole situation. Do they call themselves Rollerblade? Do they call themselves Blank? Do they call themselves Blank by Rollerblade? Whole thing, yeah, very muddled. But anyway, just dropped a new section from them. He unfortunately broke his leg filming the Ender, but still managed to get a full part out. So going to talk to him about his section, going to talk to him about his injury. On top of that, he is also Sean Kelso's vintage rollerblading memorabilia dealer. I know that not too long ago, Billy hooked him up with a original Senate hoodie, and in return, Sean sent him a bunch of basement gear. So, want to find out how that came about. And as well as that, Billy's just quite an interesting guy. He's had a section in plastic pushers, which some could argue is like the modern day version of VG. Kevin Brinkman's just going all around Europe, filming as many scenes as possible, trying to shed light on as many skaters as possible. And Billy was one of those individuals. On top of that, Billy is also, I'm pretty sure he is a self-employed tattoo artist. He's covered in loads of tattoos himself. And he also does murals and stuff like that on people's walls. And it kind of seems like Billy's the type of guy that just works enough to save up money to go on his next adventure, then buggers off, comes back, saves up a little bit more money, and kind of seems to live by his own terms, which is quite interesting. He doesn't seem tied down by a regular Monday to Friday job. So, want to talk to him about that. Basically, he's quite an interesting guy. I don't know too much about him. We've got mutual friends. He's been in touch with me before in the past when he's dropped sections, just to be like, hey, can you check this out? Let me know what you think. If you like it, promote it. He's one of those skaters that's really good about marketing himself. I think people like him, Yo Zenk, Eugen Ennen, and Bobby Spazov are people that regularly get in touch with me to be like, here's the new section. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like, don't like. If you promote it, it would be greatly appreciated. And it's quite interesting when you get skaters who adopt that approach and seem to just be a little bit more professional than your average skater who just kind of, for the most part, seem to do things at random and not really put too much consideration into it. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Cue the music.
The platform, platform, platform. The platform, platform, platform. The platform, platform, platform. The platform, 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 platform.
Hello.
Good morning. Are we live?
I mean, we're not live, but yeah.
How's it going?
I'm good. Oh God. So I'm getting the sponsored rollerblade rider Billy Martin studio experience. Is that what's happening here?
Fully, mate. This is where it goes down.
I've seen your fake ass product reviews from this location. You can't review a product when you're sponsored by the brand.
Hey, it was honest. It wasn't biased, I promise.
Okay. All right. How we doing?
Well, being better, but I'm okay. Spirits are high, trying to stay positive.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, did a good number on it, so I'm out for a little while, unfortunately.
Okay. What did the doctor say yesterday?
So it was quite a hard decision. I had to decide whether to go for surgery or not. And for the moment, I've opted out. I was kind of weighing up the pros and cons of surgery and the pros and cons of not going for it. And after speaking to a few people, I heard some horror stories of pins snapping in the leg when people were trying to do royales and Nugan movements and stuff like that. You can get nerve damage from the surgery, and yeah, I've got 3 weeks till I get another X-ray, and then I'm going to see where I'm at basically and how it's healing, and then maybe surgery later down the line, depending on how everything's going.
So is the hope that if you don't get surgery, the bone will just naturally fuse together again?
It will definitely fuse and heal. Essentially, where the ankle meets the tibia and fibia, it's going to be slightly looser within that joint.
Right.
So it all depends on how it heals, basically, which they can't quite tell yet. And it depends on the amount of physio I put in, how well I look after it. Um, there's a lot of factors in it. Is there loads of tiny little bits within the ankle joint? It's quite a complicated part.
Yeah, the worst place to break is near a joint. You want just like your leg or your arm to snap. You don't want it to be elbows or ankles or because that's I mean I've done them all. So
Yeah.
that's
Any surgery yourself or anything like that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's as straight as my arm's ever gonna go again.
Oh, God.
That's got six pins holding it in. That's yeah. I think it was 7 hours of surgery.
Dude.
So yeah, it was not a fun time. They they had to fly in a surgeon like mid surgery because the guy that was doing it was like, nah, this is a mess. Like I can't do this on my own. And I was like, cool. Woke up and the guy was like, yeah, we thought about amputating for a while. And I was like, sorry, what? Like you don't get to think about that. Like I why was there no discussion about that before?
Yeah.
So I woke up like, wow, okay, cool.
That's really well.
Yeah, oh, I've done them all. I broke my pelvis as well. That was the most recent one. That was 10 years ago,
I didn't even
eight
really know you could do that. But
8 years ago. Yeah, so yeah, I've been there. Um, right. So okay, so what are they saying in terms of recovery time?
it all depends on how it's healing. I'd be slightly quicker on my feet if I went for the op, but then the actual time to get back to proper walking, proper skating, and stuff like that is slightly longer. Um, so I'm hoping I can sort of weight bear a little bit within 3 weeks and put a boot on.
Okay.
But again, it's so unclear if I'm honest because it's an unstable fracture. So the next few weeks are quite crucial. It could go one way or the other. So I have to see literally what my foot decides to do. I need to rest as much as I can, keep it elevated, look after myself, eat well, take all the good vitamins, and yeah, just do what I can to sort of take care of it as such.
See, that's it. You're kind of in a fortunate position in that you do like I'm right in thinking you're straight edge, right?
I am now, yeah. I don't drink or smoke or anything. Yeah,
Like, because smoking's one of the worst things you can do for bone recovery because it creates loads of little tiny holes in your bones, essentially. So the fact that you don't do that and like you don't drink and stuff like that, like it definitely will speed things up. I've never heard of people snapping pins though. Like I've got six pins in my right arm and I've had loads of like brutal falls on it and like go to the gym and stuff like that and never had any issues with the pins.
well, I spoke. Yeah, there's two people that told me about it, and they said it was healing well. That they didn't get any problems with the pins. They couldn't keep anything. And then when they really tried to get back into skating, and it was literally like both of them said it was the Royale movement of going down over on the side. And yeah, both of them had the pin snapped. One guy went back in, and he literally, it's quite funny. He showed the surgeon him doing a Royale and the movement, and the surgeon went, "Yeah, okay, let's rip it all out. Let's get you back to how it was before." And apparently, it's better, and they can, yeah, they've got better ankle movement. And I've heard from quite a few people that they've had more problems with having the pins put in.
Huh.
So it's a really tricky one to weigh up, and all of these are more specific to leg and ankle as opposed to other parts of the body.
Yeah. Were these British people or not though? Because I imagine getting work done in the NHS versus getting work done in the States is significantly different.
Yeah, they were both British. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Um, I'm of the understanding this was when you were trying to get an ender. Is that right?
It wasn't really for an ender. So I was trying to get something with a bit more amplitude. I'd like to put another gap into the section. Um, I got quite unfortunate in the sense that whilst filming for the section near the tail end of it, we planned a trip to London to get a few more clips because of London's the capital city, endless spots. Thought I'd come home with, a bag full of new clips for the section. Unfortunately, it rained every day, typical British weather. So then my smart thinking was, cool, let's go to Barcelona for a week, guaranteed sunshine, guaranteed spots. Booked a 7-day trip to Barcelona, and I shit you not, it rained every single day.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first day we got out on the boot at about 10. We got around 2 hours and it was like torrential rain. And then woke up the next morning to sunshine. I thought, cool, we've just caught one awkward shower. The rest of the week's going to be blissful. So we went out the next day. It rained at about 1 o'clock. And since 1 o'clock, it rained literally until we got on the plane and went home. And I'm talking full British rain. It was about 10 degrees, blowing in your face, like literally a taste of being at home.
I've literally never, every time I've been anywhere in Spain and it's rained, it's like chucked it down for like a really intense shower. And then within like 2 hours,
It's quite
the ground's dry and it's fine. You're like, sweet.
obviously got so unlucky. So I'm not blaming that trip, but if I came home from Barcelona with it being sunny every day, the section would have been done months ago. And then I've come home to sort of winter time in the UK, been struggling to get out because of the lack of light. And, there's not that many spots down the tail end of the UK where I live. So I'm sure we'll get.
Yeah, no shit, there isn't. What's Brewing has proved that the Southwest has got the shittest spots in the UK.
Hey, the Southwest is great. It's just a bit crusty. Yeah, because I didn't manage to get much in Barcelona or London, the section was looking good. I was happy with it, but there's always that. There could be one more. There could be that little extra. You always think that with a section. It's just natural, I think. So it was edited. It was pretty much wrapped up. The weather started to get really nice. It's been sunny for a good few weeks. So me and Smith went out on a Friday evening, and I literally wanted to get a gap. So I planned 2 spots. One was like a normal sort of top car park to bottom car park gap, and there was another one where I wanted to do a little wall rail and then jump out to a wall bonk and then drop directly down after. So we went to that one first, and the wall bonk was really small, and I always skate anti-rocker. So that wasn't going to work. I put flat setup in. I'm really not used to flat setup. So had a little skate around, my feet are sort of pivoting and it's all feeling a bit weird, but it was the right thing for the spot. So it's like an awkward angle jump out to the wall. Thought, right, I'll work out the jump out and then I'll do the wall rail after, and then I'll put the two together. We'll get the camera out and we'll film it. So looked at it, eyed it up, jumped it a few times with my shoes just to sort of feel the gap out, and then put the skates on. And I jumped out to the wall, and I'm not blaming the fact I had flat setup, but it definitely sent me more off balance than I'm used to, sort of fallen back a little bit. And as I've come down to the floor, I think I've tried to turn myself to stop myself going back and hitting my head because my balance was quite off. And where I've turned maybe 90 degrees, my foot's jarred into the floor, and there were 2 paving slabs that were really quite off. My foot's gone into that, and all my weight's gone over on it. And instantly, I was like, "Dude, my ankle broke. My ankle broke." And then it's that mad panic of like, you can't see your ankle. You don't know if the bones come through the skin. Like, you don't know what's going on in that skate. So I was kind of panicking and like shaking and trying to like calm myself. And then got the skate off, and I just knew like, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that feeling is the like after you've done it, like even if it's just like you've had like minor things before, like I don't know, a broken finger, whatever, you just know, and you get that like rush of sickness in your stomach, and you're like yeah, like the panic, and it's such a horrible feeling. Oh
But
yeah.
at the start, like because of the adrenaline, the pain hadn't really kicked in. So I'd say for a minute or two, I was panicking about my ankle. And then I really quickly was like, fuck, I can't get the clip. Like, I can't try it again. Like, yeah. And I was like, actually, that's not that important. I've got a busted foot. And then all my attention went back to the foot, and then the pain kicked in. I was like, shit.
Right. So did you have the camera out by this point?
No, because I was only trying the second part of the trick, we didn't think let's start filming. So I didn't even get
Right.
the title.
I mean, because that would have been, so I know you've kind of like slowed down on it now, but I know you had the YouTube channel going for a while. That could have been a good like start of a like you could have done like a recovery video series of like what like I don't know the steps you've taken to like get healed, and that would have been if you had the footage, that would have been the perfect start for it. You and Matt Smith could have worked on a wee project together. That could have been quite cool. I mean, you still could. You just wouldn't have the catalyst footage, but yeah.
I have thought about doing a recovery video because there's not an awful lot of information out there about back on
That's
the.
that's what I mean. You see it in skateboarding. You see guys like they go to the physio and they do this and they speak to the doctors and it shows you the kind of stage by stage like what they do to get back. You don't really see that as much in roll. I mean, obviously because we don't really have like superstar rollerbladers of that level who would get films like that made about them. But yeah, you don't see it as much.
It's an idea though. It would also give me something to focus on whilst being off the skates, and if a few people find it useful, then amazing. Since doing it, I've had some really, really nice people reach out at me who've been through similar stuff. And someone suggested a thing called an eye walk. I've got it down here. So it's like a armless crutch. It straps to your leg. The lower part of your leg tucks up behind you, and then you essentially have like a lower half prosthetic leg, and it keeps your hands free, so you can walk around. You can do normal stuff in the kitchen. You can actually walk without needing crutches, and even that has been such a game changer so far.
Right. Okay.
And I'd never heard of one, never seen one. The hospital didn't suggest it, didn't have a clue about it, but it gives you that little bit of freedom.
Yeah,
Um,
no one, that's it. No one tells you how bad crutches are until you actually have to use them. I couldn't walk for 2 months. And by the end of the 2 months, I was like, I'm not stopping moving. Whatever it is, I'm just going to keep exercising, get the rest of my body like strong if my pelvis is buggered. And I'd be like walking like to and from like, I don't know, a cafe or like the post office or whatever. And within like 2 or 3 days, I had blisters all over my hands, I had blisters under my shoulders. And I was like, this hurts more than my pelvis.
yeah, 100%.
And all from just trying to stay, I was like, I'm trying to just stay active.
Yeah.
Um,
So my palms feel so bruised from the crutches already. And my good leg is like, it just feels so strained and tense all the time. It is killer. But I'm the same as you. I'm just trying to stay active. I'm doing little things with resistance bands. Um, yeah, like I'm not one to sit down. I'm normally on the go. I'm normally really active. I don't watch films. I don't watch TV. Like I don't do chill. Now I have to do chill. So yeah, I've just got to deal with it.
like that's like the so many rollerbladers. It's like the ADHD mentality. They're like, don't really know how to relax. Don't really know how to like just kind of sit
Anything
and
what to do to occupy ourselves and sort of, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
our brain goal. So
Um, but well, I mean, apart from absolutely cancelling yourself, the section turned out well.
thanks so much, dude.
I
Yeah,
mean, you've sent me a bunch over the years, and I would say that's probably my favorite one. I think you've like condensed like all the stuff that you can do into kind of like smaller, like more manageable bite-sized like chunk of a section, and it very much like leans into your strengths. Yeah.
thanks, dude. Yeah, really stoked on it. I mean, luckily I've had that to edit. So after I screwed the foot, I was like, cool, let's sit down, let's spend a few days on it, and start from scratch, really sort of finalize it and be happy with it. And having that little bit of focus in breaking it has, yeah, like really kept me on the straight and narrow in that sense.
Am I losing my mind, or have you got a dehumidifier or a dog or something in the room with you? I can hear like breathing, but I can't tell where it's coming from. And it's not you because you're nowhere near the laptop.
Oh, there's like, it's literally silent in here.
I'm losing my mind. Maybe it's coming through. Maybe I've got really sensitive like headphones or something. Um,
Yeah, sorry,
but
there's no. I mean, my cat's sat over there, but he's not doing anything.
no,
No.
I don't know what it is. So yeah, I really well actually weirdly you've just posted it the True Spin Soul up the wall rail to then I would call it like I mean I would call it like revert out like full cab revert out back over the wall. That's first off, I would never look at that and go, you know what I'm going to do up that? True soul. And then to like spin the hard way back over a wall, I'm like, that's yeah. There's so many parts to that trick that I'm like, nah, I wouldn't even that thought would never have entered my mind.
That's funny. That's the one trick where everyone's like, yeah, that was cool, like that today. Um, and nobody likes that spot. People aren't even calling it a spot. Who was it? I think Woodsy, Matt Woods, and Mark G were having a little like comment battle in the comments on Instagram, just saying like, dude, that's not a spot. Like, what are you doing? So, and like when we went there to film it, like everyone just sat down. They were just like, what the hell are we meant to do it? Like,
It's yeah. There's I mean there's well that and there's spots that you go to that everyone can session or like most people can see an idea for it and then you get ones and you're like no this is a one hit for that particular person and everyone else has got nothing on this so let's just there's I
I'm
feel
normally that guy that finds that stupid thing that's like, sorry, everyone's gonna have to sit down and wait. I'm just gonna try this for half an hour and then we'll get on with it.
yeah were there any other like tricks in there that were like I don't know were a particular struggle to get or you're particularly proud I mean I imagine you're proud of all of them otherwise they wouldn't have been in the section but there must be like standouts for you.
Yeah, so uh, there's a trick where I sort of jump out to a soul and then go to an alley heel manual and then it pivots around to a soul on the other side. I've been to that spot twice, and the first time I tried it for so long we ran out of battery on the camera, and then the second time I didn't even have hope that I'd land it. I'm not like a manual sort of guy, and the alley heel roll is something that I've never been able to do. I've never practiced it. I've never been able to, yeah, just not my sort of thing. So me and Smith were just joking, like, be Brosco, channel that Brosco, like, be like, think Brosco, be Brosco, get it done. And on the second visit there, probably took like 150 goes, which may sound like a mad amount to some people, but I've way surpassed 150 on so many tricks before.
Yeah, same. I was like, no, that sounds like a reasonable amount.
When I did it, I was really surprised that it happened that quickly.
I remember watching that back, like, because you know when you like watch someone's section, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what'd you just do there? What'd you just do? Did you just commit? Was there a crime? Did a crime just take place there? Did you? Because I was like, what just happened to his foot? Because at the end, something weird happens just before you switch to like the last soul, and I'm like, what's going on with the foot there? And I was like, did he put his foot there? What? What? And then there's just like a jiggle or something just before you like lock it in. But I was like, did the wheel go? Did the foot go down? No, the foot didn't go down.
The thing, man. So when I land it, I literally just like skate off and go and lie down on the bench, and I'm there sweating, going, Smith, don't talk to me unless it's the one. And I'm like, you need to watch it. You need to zoom in. You need to do slow mo, and you need to tell me that that was it. And he reviewed. He did like the slow mo like 6 times, and was like, dude, we think you're good. But you're right. It has a wobble, so the toe doesn't go down. It doesn't touch. But as my foot pivots round and drops down, because it's not like a jump from the alley peel manual, it actually pivots into the sole.
Right.
By the way, I've got no control over it. It's just how it happened to happen. And yeah, as it like locks down onto the sole, the foot just sort of slaps into place and has like a little quick moment.
Yeah. It's also funny that you say Alex Brosco. I love how this. I think about this more recently, just because every time I say his name, obviously because I'm doing like YouTube videos, every time I say his name, I'm like, I'm saying his name wrong, because Americans call him Broscow,
Mhm.
and obviously he is American,
Yeah,
so we're just like willfully saying his name wrong.
yeah. I mean, that's a typical British thing to do as well.
It's like someone was it Austin Paz? I think it was someone American like commented on a video because I mentioned Nike,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, Nike," and they're like, "It's Nike," and I'm like, "Yeah, but we don't do that. We don't do that American thing," and they're like, "It's an American company," and we're like, "Yeah, no, but British people just don't do that. We don't do Nike.
Yeah.
No, we do Nike."
And the thing is, dude, like Nike and Brosco have been around since we were tiny. So like 12-year-old us don't know how to pronounce stuff. And then when it sticks with you your whole life, to change how you're saying it at this age is just
Yeah, we're just like, sorry, Alex, that's how we're saying it, and
British slang of your name.
yeah, I'm really sorry. Like, if you want it changed, it's just not going to happen. Sorry.
How it is. That's funny though. You're right.
So right, first off, right, this is like the most petty bugbear known to man, right? But you're sponsored by like the aggressive arm of rollerblade, right? Which is blank, which feels like it's like a sub brand. Feels like it's a sub brand of rollerblade. They've got their own YouTube channel. They've got a blank YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yet for some reason they put half their sections on the blank channel and half their sections on the rollerblade official channel. And despite the fact that yours is an aggressive section, yours is on the rollerblade channel. It's not on the blank one. That really annoys me, and I've got no idea. Put it on a fucking blank channel. You guys have literally set up a channel specifically for aggressive sections, and yet the last one that was on there was Alex Sam's introduction one.
Yeah.
And then the last two sections, they don't even put the skater's name. They just put the title of the section. So you've got Brandon Bobadilla, who's a relatively, I wouldn't say unknown skater. He's got sections in big videos like Ends and Candy, but put the guy's name on the bloody video title. I mean, come on. And
Yeah.
they put like rookie season or something, and you're like, no one's going to look at that title and know that that's him.
I never really noticed that.
Like I said, I'm incredibly petty and like, yeah. So, but it seems so weird that they do this whole thing to differentiate blank from the rest of rollerblade. But now they've started to like merge it again. And even on like even on the blank skates, it's got like rollerblade logos on it. And you're like, well, what is it? Like, is it one or the other? Like, make up your minds, guys. Come on.
I'm not really sure where it's kind of going in that sense. I guess you're going to get a whole load more views on the Rollerblade YouTube channel.
Potentially, yeah.
Like a mad amount of subscribers on there. Rollerblades, one of, if not the biggest rollerblade general brand. As a skate brand as a whole, not just as an aggressive
Yeah,
brand.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really know.
Just it just seems odd to like start to build something up and then go, oh no, we'll just ditch that now. And you're like, well, no, stick with the vision. If that's your plan, like see it through. So how did you? Well, I'm guessing it was through Cy Coburn, but you tell me how did the whole thing with like blank rollerblade etc. start?
Um, it's kind of funny. I actually I was skating Aeons for a long, long time. Really rate them, wicked feeling skate, and I was just going through them really quickly. They're quite soft plastic and unknown, as you see, just for skating stuff that is rough and raw and doesn't really slide. So I used to go through Aeons really quickly. And because you can't change the sole plate or the frame or anything, it was costing me quite a lot of money. I was going through the booth really quickly. And I've never really been one to sort of try a different boot, but I had this feeling of like, yeah, let's try something different. Maybe I like another skate. I've been on Aeons for 6 or 7 years. I'm just going to try something else and see how it goes. And I looked at the blanks and I thought it was a nice looking skate. I saw that the frame sits really close to the boot, and I like the way that the sole pit comes slightly lower. So it's got a similar sort of feel to an Aeon. It's completely flat on the shell. I thought, yeah, cool. I'm going to order a set of blanks, see what I think of them. And at that time, I was speaking to Danny Aldridge a little bit. He was commenting on quite a lot of my Insta stuff. And he said, like, I really rate you. You're really putting a lot of stuff out at the moment. And he was just giving me some nice props, basically. And then I skate with Si a lot. And I think at the weekend I mentioned, oh, dude, I've ordered a pair of blanks. I'm going to see what they're about. And Si just said, like, coincidentally, oh, me and Danny have been talking and we were thinking about giving you a set to try out and potentially, making something of it and supporting you and moving forward with it. So it was really coincidental that I bought a set just as they were going to offer me a set to try.
You're like, yeah, give me the set, and
So,
I'll return mine.
sweet. Yeah, it was funny timing in that sense that it kind of just like crossed over. And I'll be honest, like my first day on the blanks, I was like, what have I done? These feel alien. I can't even sit in a Nugan. I'm scared to try a P rail. Like, I want my Aeons back. Because new skates and me, just, it's never been something that I can do. How you go out and do these reviews on a different skate every week, dude, I
I
don't
mean, have you seen some of the reviews? Some of the reviews, I'm just eating shit.
you do spend a lot of time on the floor, granted, but I admire anyone that can put a different skate on and just still do a salve. Like, I have this instant fear of like, this is not going to be right.
It's so
Does that get easier?
well. I have realized that after trying all these skates, you can tell within 10 minutes whether it's going to work or not, and to the degree that it's going to work. So there's some skates that I can put on and go, holy shit, this feels like home. I've never tried this skate before. It feels so natural. I'm not only going to try all the stuff I can do. I'm going to try stuff that scares me. And then there's other skates that you're like, this feels a little bit outside my comfort zone, but I can deal with it.
Yeah.
There's certain tricks I'm going to avoid on this setup for particular reasons, but for the most part, I'm going to be all right. And then there's other skates that you're like, nah, this is actually like scary territory. This is to the point where I don't want to try my safety tricks. Like the standards are a perfect example. I just reviewed the standards and I had the V1s and I could get along with them relatively well. Like it was in that middle zone where I was like, I could do some stuff, but wasn't overly confident. And then I just tried the new version and I was like, I feel confident in nothing in these. Like I don't like unit. I was struggling to do just like a unity grind on them. And I was like, I was eating shit on unities.
Just pop the sign out the box.
I will unity anything. I will unity, like if you put a kink reel in front of me, I'll unity it before I royale it. And I was like on a ledge, just like wiping out. And I was like, this is scaring the shit out of me. No way. So yeah.
I agree with you, actually. You just reminded me. So between the Aeon and the blank, I've very briefly bought the Swiss Farmer Sway. And
I remember this because you were like, what do you think of the sways? And I was like, I absolutely love them. And you're like, I fucking hate these things.
that void of plastic that doesn't need to be there made me feel so out of control with the skates. And I literally gave him 10 minutes. I said, no, like, I'm not even going to bother to try to get used to this. And then that's what the blank came in. So, like I say, with the blank, at the start, because it was just a different skate, I was like, oh, I want my Aeon back. But they did feel good out the box. I did like the sole plate. I did like the fit. And yeah, like after a day, I think I was getting on a nice flat rail in Nugan. And yeah, things felt pretty good with them.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, it is quite funny because I don't think there's that many bad skates on the market, and I would never describe a skate as shit. I would just be like, this just doesn't work for me. Like, I think every skater's got like a criteria or like just things that they need to work for them, and like the standards are perfect. I think it's a perfectly good skate. It's just not the right skate for me. And yeah, with like I tried the blank as well, and I was like, I could just tell really quickly. I was like, this isn't going to work for me. But like the fact that you're like, no, like I think they're great. It just proves that they just different things work for different people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all preference, isn't it? It's all about your vocab, what you want to get out of skate, like you say. You can change stuff on skate, put the cuffs on and change the liners. You know, it's all preference, isn't it? I'm very much like If something works for me, I will not change it. Like I've got a blank, I've got a 3/8 frame, and that will be me. Like I bought the Master Blade frames a few weeks ago because I
Okay.
just wanted to try something a little bit different out, and I had doubt from the start. And I had a 10-minute session on them. They were wicked, but it wasn't the 3/8. I was like, no, I don't want to have to change anything. I just want to stick to the way I skate and what I know, and not upset anything. If that makes sense.
That frame kind of I don't I don't really get it. Like it's such a huge split for an anti-rocker frame. You're like, see if it's designed to have grind wheels. There's absolutely no need for the split to be that huge.
You mean like the gap in the middle, basically? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like like you don't need all that space because you've designed a frame that's not meant to be flat. So why yeah, it just, I mean, maybe it's going over my head, but I'm just like, it seems unnecessary.
so is it not meant to give a flat feel with a freestyle frame? Is that the aim or not?
But I don't understand how it would give a flat feel
Well,
with,
that was my instant thing. Like I was like, this doesn't fit. This doesn't feel flat at all. There's no pivot. There's no swivel.
yeah,
It was cool. Like the grinds felt incredible. They did feel really nice, and they're made incredibly well. But um, I was very quickly just like, no, creates. I'm just going to stick to the way that I do things.
yeah, it's an odd one. Um, also, I saw that you still list Slicks as one of your sponsors on Instagram. How can you be sponsored by Slicks and ride blanks?
It's for the anti rockers.
But you just put up a post recently putting creeper grind wheels, so you're not even using their anti-rockers.
Well, I'm not using anything at the moment. It was Creeper just sent me a little care package to try out, basically.
Right.
So when I didn't have any new anti rockers to put in the photo, um, and they look quite cool. The Creepers, they got the weird angle on one side, and the kind of interested to see how they would feel.
Okay. The slicks know you're cheating on them.
Maybe.
They do now.
Nah, he's good. He does look after me. They do a little bit of clothing and stuff as well. And,
Right. Okay. And obviously you're getting hooked up by Capital Rose as well, who do clothes, they do the wheel, they do like the LDN jam and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's just from your constant trips to London over the years.
well, yeah. So Jamie Harris, one half of Capital Rovers, is a long-term and good friend of mine who used to live down in the southwest.
Right.
Kind of skated with Jay when I was like 15, 16. So we've always been, yeah, been really close. And he obviously moved to London 10 or so years ago, maybe more, maybe 15. But we've always stayed in contact. He's always been like our London go-to. He's hooked us up and let us stay. And they were my first sponsor, basically. Um, I am the only like non-London head that's part of the team.
I was gonna say because that you are like the anomaly because everyone else is like London based, and I was like I always did think it was quite funny that they like essentially put the outsider on. Yeah.
But I've always wanted to support them. Like they're homies from day one. I like what they do. They contribute to the UK scene in a massive way.
Yeah.
They put on. They they are more of like a competition company as opposed to they're still a brand, but their main aim is the competition. Basically,
Yeah.
they do a good job of it. So I've always wanted to support them. I always used to buy the product the second it came out, and he just said, "Look, dude, like let's give you some bits, make a little edit, and yeah, it's a loose sponsor. It's all very relaxed. The
Yeah.
capital thing. There's no like you have to do this or that. It's just like looking after each other, basically.
Okay. So what's the deal with Blank? Is it just free product or how does the setup work with them?
Yeah, it's all fairly chill. To be fair, there's no like you must do this, you must do that. I post quite a lot anyway. I'm quite good at spamming the Instagram and being a little less regular with making edits, but I think with that can also come quality. Um, so yeah, it's all quite chilled. Sai checks in with me every now and then, checks if there's anything I need. They look after me, put some content out, and yeah, it's all quite a relaxed approach to it. To be honest, it's quite nice.
It's qu it's quite funny that got this like culture now where people so like Sai's a really good example of this. Like whenever anyone mentions Cy Coburn to me, they mention Cy Coburn, like the free skater or like the guy that just like hops from thing to thing or rolls
Yeah,
about. And I just kind of refuse to acknowledge that as an existence. I'm like, no, that's Cy Coburn that used to be in the BHC videos. That's Cy Coburn that like used to
but
540 off every grind and just five. I'm like, nah, I'm not like if you're just referring to him as a free skater, I'm not acknowledging that. Sorry.
try back.
I'm like, no, no. In my head, he's still the ginger guy that did topsoul 540 off everything. Yeah,
Dude, I used to do some massive, massive stuff.
that's it as well. Like, I feel like I have heard people like speak critically and go, oh, like the stuff he does in skates now is easy. He's just rolling around hops, and I'm like, man, you don't have to go that far back to see him doing stuff that's terrifying.
Yeah, and the stuff that he does do isn't easy. I've had a few days of being psycho and it's tough. Like you have to look at stuff in a completely different way. Um, yeah, so I used to do some absolute hammer stuff. Like it's funny sometimes out on the skate days because Si's doing different stuff to us. He'll do like a big five on the big wheel, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't realize he could do that." They obviously just don't know his history of being a bit of a mad aggressive skater.
Yeah, I do think like social media distorts things. And I think, yeah, because he's like you, like spams Instagram. So you're just seeing new footage of him every day because it is new footage of him doing just like wreck stuff, essentially. Loads of people are like, oh yeah, like Psycho Burn the wreck skater, or like refer to him in the same vein as like Steven Johnson and stuff like that because they're like obviously doing like similar things and like making videos and stuff like that together. And I'm like, yeah, but he does have a history in the sport. Like he's been around for a while. He's not just that thing. But okay, yeah, cool.
I think any of the like Danny Aldridge, people will be the same with him. They'll just see his big wheel stuff and his freestyle stuff and think, oh, he's just a really fast, good skater that does set slides and hops about. And you know, they've all got history. Same as Steven, man. Like they can all aggressive skate really, really well.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's an odd one.
It's a bit like Pirelli. I didn't know that he used to aggressive skate. I've not seen really any clips of his old aggressive skating.
Nicola Torelli.
Yeah,
He used to aggressive skate. That's quite funny because when he made that video with Nick, he looked so uncomfortable on Aeons. Like I was talking to him about it, and I was like, "How can you look so casual and effortless and stylish on freestyle skates and do all those cess slides and stuff like that, which is really difficult. And yet you put on aggro skates and even just skating around, you look uncomfortable skating around on aggro skates and they're flat setup. So it's basically just a smaller version of freestyle skates. And he's like, yeah, no. And I'm like, you like when you're skating towards like a curb, and it's like you look scared. Like you can see the hesitation in just your posture. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. He's like, I put them on and I don't feel like the same person.
he is swag man though. He is.
That's it. But I'm like, but dude, even why is skating around different? Like, surely skating around, you should still be like, I'm a G, I'm cool. And
Yeah.
then when it gets to the grind bit, you're like, shit, 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 shit. And he's like, no. He's like, I just put them on, and I'm like, I know at some point I'm gonna have to grind something.
It must be weird that transition though. If you've had 80 mil flat setup on for 2 months and then you suddenly go down to like a little 60 mil wheel on an aggressive skate, it must just feel like you've got like maple syrup in your wheels or something. Do you not think it just be this sudden like weird adjustment?
Yeah. Who was it? I'm gonna misquote here. I think it might have been Sam Crofts.
Yeah,
Sam Croft said the transition of being an aggressive skater to a freestyle skater is significantly easier than the transition of being a freestyle skater to an aggressive skater. And they were like, because depending on your background, you do have the basics intact. You just need to learn the trick vocabulary of a freestyle skater. Whereas going from freestyle to aggressive is an entirely different mind change because it suddenly gets punishing really quickly. And like, you're like, oh, I'm not used to taking like these kind of like my body's not used to taking this kind of punishment. Oh shit. And yeah.
Well, someone that skates anti-rocker and 60 mil wheels in a part of the UK where the floor is like cobbled and falling apart. When I do occasionally go on a big wheel, it's heavenly. You're 80 mil, eight down, and you can go over blind man. You can go over bumps. Like the actual act of skating feels incredible.
I I've weirdly got like a kind of, well, not a totally opposite experience, but every time I try rec skates, they hurt my feet.
Okay.
And I'm putting it down to the increased wheel size. So it's the pain is always in the same. It doesn't matter. I've tried every pair of skates. Hell, I bought a rec pair of skates off you, which I haven't actually skated yet. Those like impulse buy like shiny red things. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah,
Power slide
like power slide.
something.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
every time I try a rec skate, I get pain in the bridge of my foot, the arch of my foot,
Weird.
and I'm thinking it's because the wheel height is just somehow putting additional pressure on that section of the foot, or
Yeah.
just the way the skates are designed. But it does not matter what skate it is. It doesn't matter whether it's a power slide skate, a rollerblade, and like I've tried so many different ones, being like, oh, I just want like a cruise setup, and I'm like, all these cruise setups kill my feet.
So even if you put a 80 mil flat setup on an aggressive boot that doesn't hurt your feet, does it do the same thing? Or have you never tried?
No, I have because I've done like wizard skating and stuff like that on them skates, and
Yeah.
it was all right. I think it must be something about the ergonomics of the way that freestyle skates are designed, because obviously they do all have a very kind of similar silhouette. But yeah, there's something about it, and it'll go away for a while, but it's like a cramping almost in just that particular section of the foot. I've never quite managed to get to the bottom of it or find a setup that doesn't do it.
And it's just not going to make it enjoyable for you either, is it?
That's what I mean. You're rolling around like this is meant to be chill, but in my head, I'm just like, man, the middle of my foot is burning.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I skate. Yeah, I skate flat, so it's basically just like a bigger version of skating flat. But yeah, the sensation underfoot is not the same. It's a weird one. So in addition to all that stuff, you also had a section in. You've only had one section in plastic pushers, right? You didn't have a section in the most recent video. It was the last video. It was the one where it was you and you'd one in the same section as Mikhail Wietzman,
Yeah.
which was three. There's been four, right?
Yeah.
They all blend into one for me.
Yeah. Four.
Yeah. So, what was it? What was it like filming with Cavan? Oh, wait a minute. So now that you're like straight edge and vegan and don't drink and stuff like this, are you like one of these annoying ones that tells people off for eating meat and drinking booze, or are you not an arsehole like Cavan?
I'm pretty chill with it.
Because Cavan loves telling people how they should live their lives.
Uh, yeah, I'm pretty chill with it. I mean, I haven't eaten meat since I was 5, so
Right.
yeah, that's just been how I've sort of grown up. And the drinking and smoking thing's slightly more recent, but yeah, people can just do what they want, you know. I'm easy with it.
So were your family vegan or vegetarian?
My sister is vegetarian,
Right.
but everyone else is a meat eater. Yeah,
That's a really young age to like make that decision.
really young. Yeah, I saw some program on TV where it's kind of in the slaughterhouse, and
Okay.
we had roast dinner that night. And I was like, "Mum, is this thing on the plate? Like, did that come from there?" And kind of put two and two together. She was like, "Yeah, I don't want to eat this." And literally since that day, just yeah,
That'll do it. Yeah. That's quite funny. I had that conversation like a few years ago with my daughter. She's only 9, but yeah, she could only have started primary school at the time. And she like certain we don't really eat a lot. We eat meat maybe once or twice a week in the house. Like mainly it is vegetarian or like pescatarian meals. And she was like, "Oh, so like this like," she was like, "So this is an animal," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like that, and you can see her like processing it for a bit, and I was like, "So I mean, if you don't want to eat it anymore, I mean, we won't like force you or anything. Like we'll make meals that don't involve meat," and she was like, "No, that's fine." she was bothered, but not bothered enough to actually change anything about her lifestyle. But she was like, no, she was like, it's not very nice that they die. She was like, but I don't want to stop eating them. And I'm like, right, okay, cool, fine, whatever.
A
But it,
lot of people have that view on it. They know that it's cruel, but they're like, yeah, but I like burgers.
um, but yeah, it was quite interesting hearing it coming from that kind of like innocent standpoint of like no social judgment. That she just made a decision in her head. She was like, I do like the animals, but I also like how they taste. So this is the conclusion I've come to, and you're like, right, okay, fine.
I quick of a decision as well. But yeah, cool. Stick with it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, so yeah, right. So what was the? How did I'm assuming Cavan reached out to you and said, "Do you want to come over and film?"
So how did it work? I was actually in Amsterdam. I say whilst they were filming Plastic, which is freaky films all year. So I was filming, but I was in Amsterdam the year before, and I spent a lot of time in Amsterdam. I've gone to Winter Clash on quite a few occasions and made friends with quite a lot of the Dutch guys. And a good friend of mine, Lisa, is close with Cabin and had a section in Plastic Pushers one, maybe one or two. And he said, "Dude, you need to give Cabin a show. Like he's in Amsterdam at the moment. I think Chris Farmer is here. They're out. They're filming. Just give him a shout. Link up with him." And at this point, a lot of my friends had gone home, and I was sort of just staying in Amsterdam on my own. Had a few days there just to chill and have a wind down and just experience and stuff. So I gave Kevin a shout, and I actually ended up meeting him and Chris, and Patrick was there as well, and a few other just local guys. So and like just bumping into Chris Farmer in Amsterdam, amazing. Like childhood idol. Got a few clips for Plastic Pushers 3, and since then we kind of just merged as friends and stayed in contact, and yeah, spoke a bit more. And he said, "Dude, like number 4, what are you saying?" Simple as that. He just offered a section to, and yeah, like had an absolute blast, man. Like we did quite a lot of trips for it. We went to quite a few countries. Yeah, just hell a lot of fun, hell a lot of fun. And it's always nice when you're filming a section and like my blank section is just filmed by all the boys. Like I take my camera everywhere. I chuck the camera at someone. I'm like, there's the zoom. Like, try your best. We'll try and get it. Like, sometimes that doesn't work.
It's so yeah, it's such a mixed bag because
Yeah,
sometimes
but
and it
they
makes skating
like,
so hard as well because you're like you're
and then
no
watch it back and like, dude, I'm not even in the frame. Like,
yeah.
but I got to thank them all because they were very patient and they made it happen. But when you're filming a section and you have one filmer that knows how to do it and they'll sit there with you for hours and once you landed it, it's filmed right, that changes the whole dynamic. And I think that's why it was so much fun because Cavin's just, he learns how you like to skate, he learns the spots you like, he learns what he doesn't like. And he'll literally, he'll sit down of an evening and he'll show you 6 things and you're like, dude, they're all like things that I like. He's really good at getting in your head and working out how to go about things.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally one of the best times making that section. So much fun.
Yeah, that the pressure of like battling a trick and in your head like going I can't even fully concentrate on doing this trick because I'm so busy worrying about how badly my friend is butchering this, or like having to check the clip between every attempt to be like, no, can you lift it up a wee bit? Can you, why, what's with the National Geographic angle? Can, like, I'm a dot in this screen. Can you please, please zoom in? No, you've zoomed in too much. Nah, man, that's just my knees. Like, dude, no one wants to see my knees. Like,
Literally paining me whilst you're saying this, dude. It's so accurate.
and you're like, but then you're getting back up and you're like, I could seriously fuck myself up here, and and or like you land it and you're like, cool. So if the next one involves an injury, I'm gonna start resenting this person because I've done my job, I've landed the trick, and they've screwed me, and now we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it is brittle, and you're like, cool. I need to lace this like three times to have any hope of this coming out properly. Is that what's happening here? Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's a tough one, and not most of the blank section, but some of it was definitely like that. But again, if you're not a filmer and you're not familiar with that camera, it can be difficult. Um, the thing that blows my mind the most is people that cannot film with an iPhone. It's like the most basic bit. Like it does everything for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many people that can't work with Zoom. And there's this argument whether you pinch for the Zoom or you slide for the Zoom. And like,
To be fair, I can't do it right. So I get into trouble for this because I'm so used to filming with a camcorder.
yeah,
I can't do the slide and pinch zoom. It's just like it's the most I can follow anyone. I
yeah,
can pan. I can do all that. But like see the zooming, I always like it's just so I can't like get to grips with that at all. So I can empathize with that. But yeah, when people I'm like, just hold the phone. Just follow, just like go like that. Why
yeah,
can't why can't you do or when people film with a camcorder and I'm like, have you ever watched a skate video?
yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, does that look like anything you've ever seen in a skate video? And they're like, no. And I'm like,
Just replicate what you've seen for the last.
yeah.
But then like, some people film in such an incredible way. Like, I've filmed for quite a few years. There's no way I can make it look like Mark Marino or like, I don't like some people just have a certain way of making it look like something really different.
I mean, that's an unfair comparison. Mark is very good at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably my favorite dude. The way that his stuff's put together, it's like,
I think he's heavily underrated as a filmer and editor. Him and Tellez Angel, like all the like projects they've worked on together, like Seis de Bastos and Flama and stuff like that. And I definitely feel that they don't get the recognition they deserve. I mean, God, Mark's basically been responsible for the majority of the Mesmer like media output, and it's all been phenomenal as well. Um, yeah, it's an interesting one. I definitely feel like he's celebrated more as a skater than just all the other contributions he's made to rollerblading,
yeah,
which is kind of
but
wild.
he's good at everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, really, yeah, just really love what he does.
Um, that must have been kind of wild hanging about with Chris Farmer because I know you're a big mind game guy.
Yeah.
And you must have been like, holy shit, it's the guy from Words.
What was it, 3 years ago now, maybe? So, like, if I was 20 and met him, I'd feel even more hyped. But still, it was cool because it was such a relaxed atmosphere. We're just skating together, we're just getting clips of plastic pushers, and yeah, we literally just got to hang out. And yeah, yeah, it's really cool. And Chris actually helped with some items from my mind game collection as well, which is pretty sick.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you like ever just sitting down chilling? You're like, so Chris, you got any goodies? You got any stuff in the vault that you would be willing to part with? Because he's also a bit of a collector as well. He's like a bit of a hoarder. Because I remember when I want to say it was when Rob Guerrero got shot and they needed money to get him back to the US. I'm pretty sure Farmer gave up, raffled off one of his, I think it was a Mind Game tracksuit jacket, which had never been released. Like the tracksuit top thing, like the Mind Game some. And then he basically alluded to the fact that he'd saved a lot of that stuff over the years and that if necessary, he would like raffle off more stuff. Um, did you ever have any conversations with him? You're like, so what kind of stuff have you got that I can get that
Not whilst I was with him. I kind of was on a little bit of a break from collecting at that point, but I think a few months after, I was like, yo, like, get in that treasure chest, dude. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, yeah. I'm about to make you some generous offers. Like, it's good.
Came through with the goods. He had some prototype wheels. He had some stuff that you couldn't get anywhere else, basically.
Right.
And it's funny, I know the exact jacket you mean. I know who owns it, and I've been trying to yeah, trying to get hold of that one.
Because it was other stuff as well. Because you had all the original Senate stuff as well, and I remember you had some medium stuff for a while. Is it just everything that you want to get because you got all the Senate stuff, and then am I right in thinking you sold it off again? Do you like collect everything you can and then go, right, I'm done with the activity, get rid of it? Or is it like is there anything you're just like, no, I'm keeping this collection forever? Or is it just the act of collecting that you like?
So originally it was like I just wanted to collect my favorite brands.
Right.
Started maybe 2019, like before lockdown, and I slowly started putting stuff together. And then when lockdown hit, people were locked in their houses. They were going through their lofts. They were going through the cupboards and digging in places in the house they haven't been for 10 years. So much stuff started popping up, so much OG stuff. And people needed money, man. So it was going quite cheap. I had a lot of savings. And at that point, I was like, dude, now is the time to grow the collection. And I went all in, man. I was going on eBay like 10 times a day. Like, I'm not exaggerating either. I was bored, man. I was going on eBay and just, yeah, I built up real quick. And I made like a really nice display in the front room. Got quite involved in the scene of collectors and really sort of went for it. And then after a while, I was like, dude, I've got a lot of money's worth of stuff here, which is never going to get used. And obviously, you wouldn't use it because it's a collector's piece.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel right just kind of being hoarded in my front room where it didn't really, not that many people saw it. It kind of was just sat there. So I decided to slowly start like, I think I offloaded the medium stuff to start with. And I was like, okay, I feel okay letting go of that. Like, that's gone from the collection. And started letting go of the Senate stuff. And Mind Game was always my favorite brand. Like, so influential. The way they did stuff felt so unique and fresh at the time. And I always knew that I'd keep on to that. And the stuff that I found through lockdown, I don't think would ever come up again. So I then decided to solely focus on Mind Game. There was nothing else that really interested me. I had such a cool gathering of Mind Game items. I was like, cool, this is it. Just going to focus on Mind Game. And that's where I'm at now, basically. I've just stuck to that. I've got the Instagram, and I'm just trying to like preserve and document as much about the brand as I can, learn as much as I can. And I think at some point I'll do some YouTube videos and sort of go through the collection in detail and share what I can with people.
Okay. That is quite nerdy and niche. I imagine there would be people that are probably like, yeah, if you went into, I don't know, particular items or like stories behind them, or like, yeah, just gave the kind of history behind particular things. Um, are there like any particular items that you're like, that's the holy grail? Like, I'm glad when you got it, you're like, that's a special piece. I'm glad I managed to pick that up.
I mean, it was only like 6 weeks ago I got the last set of wheels to complete like every wheel that was ever released.
Right.
And not certain, but I think I'm the only person in the world that has a full complete collection. They're not all brand new condition, but
Yeah.
like most of them are. And yeah, they are complete. And it was Latimer's last wheel to come out, the seventh wheel.
Okay.
Spent years trying to find it, man. Years and years and years. And finally, yeah, finally got hold of it. I've also got an original Mind Game business card, one of Dustin's original business cards, which is signed by him,
Oh, no way.
which someone received in a bag that they bought from Dustin. And it just happened to have these random business cards and an old wheel in it, one of Dustin's used wheels. So I've got that as well.
Random. I've always wondered about this. So there was certain skaters that were about to get pro wheels, but they never like. So, for example, Don Bambrick was about to get a pro wheel. The pro wheel was even designed. I'm pretty sure there might even have been an advert for it. I might have made that up, but I've definitely seen like the graphic, and I wondered if a prototype wheel had ever floated around and you'd managed to get a hold of one, like basically one that had like never came out, because obviously him and Brandon Campbell both, well, Brandon Campbell either quit or was fired, and then before Bambrick got his wheel, they went out of business.
Yeah, so I've never seen the graphic for his wheel.
Right.
I I've heard rumors about it. I've seen more conversation on maybe on Facebook many years ago about it, asking. I'm sure there was a post somewhere that had a few comments about it, but I've never seen a graphic for it or like a prototype or anything.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. Um,
I just wondered if you'd managed to get like an insight because there was certain guys in the States. There was a guy called Travis that was in one of the Travis Steinsled or something, I think his name was. He was in one of the mind game videos, and I remember Jeff Phillips for a while kept rocking all these just like every section Jeff brought out, he was wearing like more mind game stuff. And I'm like, where do you keep coming up with these things? And he's like, oh, I know one of the guys that used to be in the mind game videos. And he was like, he's basically just got this like stash of clothing. I think he used to like maybe work at the warehouse or something, or like was just friends with him. And Jeff's like, I'm literally just buying stuff off him every chance I get. So I wondered if you'd managed to like get like a connect of someone that used to, I don't know, work in the warehouse at Mind Game or Trend Killer or something. You were like, man, whatever you've got, I will take.
if it's out there, dude, I haven't found it, but um, I spend a lot of time like looking at weird places in the internet, and like anyone that follows my account, I instantly message. I'm like, yo, thanks for following. Like, niggas. Mate, there's only one way to find it. If you don't put the effort in, it's not going to come to you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I've got a lot of nostalgia for like the early the early like Senate stuff or like the first kill team line stuff like that. But then when you see the prices people are asking for the stuff, I remember I like it was before lockdown anyway. I got a set of the Dave Colash in the box for like 50 quid. And I was like, yeah, that's reasonable, £50. And then like a couple of years later, someone's like, £100, £100 for a set of Dave Colash. And I'm like, what? What? And like just some of the obscene prices are like people are like, oh yeah, you want a set of Roadhouses? That's 200. And you're like, wow, no, I'm not.
It goes
No.
higher than that. It goes way higher. New Roadhouse in the box, 500.
Yeah.
People pay it. And then, um, dude, some items have gone for over 1,000. Like, there's not many that go for that, and there's not many people that pay it, but
Yeah.
there are a few items out there that, yeah.
I
Well,
remember Scott Crawford, the old like Cosmo Pro. He had a stash of wheels, and he said, I think it was on Jump Street. He said he sold a set of brand new Cosmo wheels, and it paid for a flight from Australia to Blading Cup.
yeah,
And I was like, that gives you an idea of the ballpark of how much money he got for
I'm pretty
four wheels.
sure I know who bought them. Yeah.
Um, But yeah, that's mental. Also, isn't there a story? Isn't there a story where you like sold? You did like a trade with Sean Kelso.
I might have sold Kelso something in the past. I've never traded anything with him.
I'm sure he told a story on Jump Street where he said he got a Senate hoodie off you, and in or some kind of Senate item, and in return he sent you like a bag of basement stuff.
I think that's Anthony Canning. That's
Oh, I got them mixed up, right? Because I think he got the names mixed up then. Because I'm pretty sure on Jump Street he was like, I think his name's like Duke something, and I was like, no way, no way. Billy's hooking up Sean Kelso with like Senate gear.
might have sold him one item, but I'm pretty sure he did a trade with Anthony, yeah, a guy from Wales.
Right. Okay. Right.
Got that mixed up. But yeah, I definitely didn't receive a box of basement stuff.
Right. Okay. Because I remember because then like he brought out a section and he was wearing a Senate hoodie that was not like triple XL, which I was like, that looks out of place on Sean Kelso. It looks weird. Like he's wearing normal fitting clothes. Um, and I was like, that must have been it. That must have been the thing he got. Right.
Yeah, that's funny. And the thing with the OG stuff is you might find that dream item, but it could be in like a small or like a 4XL, like you say. And then like to then find something in your size, it's just
Gold dust. Yeah.
it's a game, man. It is a
Yeah.
game.
It always surprises me when stuff like that pops up and you see someone, you're like, how have they got that? Like that's like like perfect condition, like 1997, 1996, like Senate piece of clothing. Why has it not got holes in it? Why did you you must have owned that when you were a teenager. How have you not abused that?
Well, funny enough, the guy that I got the signed business card from, um, he had a stack of stuff, dude. He had loads of clothing, all sorts. And when I first came across him, He was like, nah, like nothing's for sale. It's got a lot of personal value for personal reasons. It really meant a lot to him. Um, so I didn't want to pry. Like I don't want to be disrespectful or sort of Um, but we started talking a little bit more. He looked through the mind game pages, like, wow, you really love this brand, dude. Like maybe I could unload a few items to you. And I said to him, like, look, and is there any items that you would really like to get that maybe we could do some sort of trade? So you don't just miss out on your stuff, you get something in return that, you know, you'd really like to get. And um, there was one particular Senate t-shirt that the dude wanted. I remember, might have been a TJ t-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. And
The GoldenEye one, the one with the gun by any chance?
it was a grey t-shirt, and I think it's like flowery writing on the front.
Right, okay.
I've never seen it before, so I was like, "Damn, dude, you picked a hard one. Like, I'm not going to find this." And dude, after like 3 days, I'd managed to track one down in his size, brand new, unopened, and I was just like, "How is this possible to find this item?" Um, so I managed to get it, sent it out to him. He sent me some stuff. He was so kind, man. He added like all these extra bits that I didn't know were coming. And we did a really sweet trade. But he hasn't even taken this t-shirt out of the packaging. He's just got it like locked at home in a cupboard, and he's like, dude, just the fact that I own that brand new, like it's never coming out. So um, it's actually like you really like build friendship through the collecting side of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you like what people are letting go of, like the dude that hooked me up with the last set of um, Latimer wheels, Tien Tegan. I don't quite know how to say his name properly. My bad. The guy from Australia.
Tien, oh, I mean, I'll probably butcher his name as well, but Tien Nugent that was in like the Vine Street videos, yeah.
He bought these brand new, man, in like 2006. He's owned these wheels all that time. And again, he was like, "Yeah, dude, I've got them, but they mean a lot to me." And we kept speaking, and I ended up finding him a load of medium gear. He ended up getting one of Dustin's original medium hoodies, which Dustin owns. So like, um, I always try and make it like a fair deal for someone, and I'll
Yeah.
put as much work as it takes to get something from someone and for them to get something that really means a lot to them. And it took me months and months to find this medium stuff, dude, and track it down. And I ended up having like a box of medium stuff here. I was like, this is sick. I don't really want to give this away. Like, and then, but to exchange for the wheels, like, that's why I love collecting, man. It's the process of it as well.
I remember being very jealous when you had like the medium t-shirts because I never managed to get one as a kid, and I always wanted one that just had like just the standard medium logo on the chest. But yeah, I also could never do collecting. I could never do like collecting stuff and just having it sitting there doing nothing. Like the child in me is like that needs to be used. Obviously not the wheels because they would just disintegrate. But like when you have stuff like that, I feel guilty about owning like more than one pair of skates and
Yeah,
like having them sitting in a corner, and I'm like, they're not their purpose in life
to
is
get tried.
is to get ruined, and I'm not ruining them. They're sitting in the corner. This is like this feels wasteful. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I don't wear any of my mind game stuff. Probably got 60 items of clothing, 60 hats. Don't wear anything. It's just tucked away.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be physically incapable of doing that. Yeah, I'd have them ruined within the year easily. Um, so in addition to having your own stuff out, having plastic pushers, you were doing your own YouTube channel for a while, and it felt like you were pumping out videos like every week.
Yeah.
And then, so what was the initial idea behind that, and then why did it? Because it's stopped. You haven't done one in months.
Um, I like making skate content. I like skating. I like just going out and skating like we all do. Um, I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. Um, there's a lot of content out there. People make sections. People do podcasts. People do a
Rollerblading
whole range.
YouTubers, man, Billy, don't even get me started on them. They are the worst of the worst. I mean, guys, get a life.
I basically wanted to try and do something a little bit different, and I had the idea of like setting myself a challenge each week and just going to skate in a abandoned factory or trying to do 50 switch up, switching. Like this is stuff that I wanted to go out and do anyway. But I thought, like, why not document it? Why not just have a bit of fun with it and try the YouTube thing out? So I did. I went for it. I had a whole list of like stuff that I wanted to try and do. And what's really weird is at the start I couldn't get enough of it. I was itching to get out and film the next one, and I fell in love with editing again, and really just was itching to keep it going. And then I suddenly hit this wall, dude, and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And as quickly as it started, it almost stopped.
Okay.
And I don't know if I put too much pressure on myself or if I was doing the videos too regularly. My aim at the start of the year was to do one video a week for the year.
I mean,
So
doing one every week. See when things are on your side and like I don't know, the weather's good, or
that's great.
like
Yeah.
with my job, I work 2 out of 5 weekends. So when I'm working the weekend, I'll get weekdays off, which is great because my kids at school, my partner's at work. I don't feel guilty about using my time selfishly because they're not there. But then other than that, it's like so I'll make 2 or 3 videos and then can't make anything for weeks because life gets in the way. But when it works out like that, but when it doesn't, then doing one a week under those conditions, that would quickly become hard.
Yeah, it is, man. And I think a lot of people don't realize the work that goes into editing, skating. And like in some of the videos, I'm leaving the house at 7 a.m. I was packing the van full of gear. I'd drive 2 hours somewhere. That wouldn't work out. I'd drive another hour somewhere else. That wouldn't work out. I'd go somewhere else. And then skate until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I then pack all the gear back in the van. Dude, it's like 15, 16 hour day sometimes just to film. And then it's like a day editing. Then you've got to schedule it on the YouTube. Then you've got to promote it on Insta. You've got to make a little trailer. Like, it's mad how much time it takes up. And
Yeah.
like having a social life and trying to skate normal sessions as well, it I don't really know how I managed to do as many as I did back to back. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
I've still got so many ideas, and people did seem to enjoy it. But yeah, I really quickly fell out of love with it, and it felt like a chore. And I think it was one particular episode that I tried to film, sort of made me make that decision to be like, I'm just going to stop this. I wanted to try and do the most rail transfers that anyone's ever done. So I had a load of P rails in the garden anyway.
Right. I was about to say, how many would that how do you even determine how many that is?
Is it Van Coven? I suppose has got the record.
Who?
Is it Van Coven? The clip did come out not that long ago, and it's just all those rails in a straight line. His feet go out and then onto another one, another one, another one.
I don't know what skater you're saying.
So bad with these names.
What's his name?
Ivan Coven.
Oh, the USD guy.
Yeah, that skates like the guy.
Like oh god, it's like Kotovan or I do know what you mean now. Right, got you. I was like, I was like, what words are you saying?
I was just reading out his Instagram handle, but yeah, I think he's done like the most transfers with that clip.
Okay.
So I wanted to go out and try and do as many as I could. So I gathered up all my P rails. I had a few slider bars, called a few friends, got in the van, and got like probably had like 25 different obstacles that I could get together. So I managed to squeeze them all in my van, and I drove up to a quarry out on the moors, and I had to take all these rails individually over a fence, walk them like 5 minutes up. I set them up in this weird configuration, so it's slightly downhill so I could keep going. And I was going at it for maybe 3 hours. And then on one of them, I've slipped off the rail and I've cracked my ribs. The rail's come up back under me. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, basically broken my rib. There's no phone signal. I've got probably a ton of rails that I need to get back in my van. It started raining a bit. And I was like, at that point, I was like, this sucks. This really, really sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to move all this stuff back in my van. I couldn't complete the video. my rib is on fire. I'm like wheezing, and that was like the icing on the cake. I was like, I'm going to stop this for now. Like, whether I do it in the future, I'm not sure. But it was a mix of things that made me stop. And so many people like, dude, where did you go? Like, where's the content? Like, this was good. We were enjoying it. You suddenly stopped. I really should have made a video at least saying, like, guys, I'm out for a bit. Like, I'm not feeling it. But man, how much work it takes to do this.
I
It's
mean that is a very very extreme example that you went there. Also, you could have got help. You could have been like, "Is anyone up for this? Is anyone up for like helping me out here?" That is quite an extreme one, but I do know what you mean. There's
quarry and set up.
yeah. I do know. I've driven like yeah a couple hours, got to a skate park, wrote myself off, and been like, "I'm here alone.
Yeah,
I need to get myself home." Like shit. And yeah, or I'm like, I need to pick my daughter up from school in like 4 hours. Like I like this is dumbass territory. What are you doing? Yeah. Um
it was a weird relationship with the YouTube thing. Like I said, I went from really, really loving it and not being able to do enough to like, I need a break. And maybe I've put too much pressure on myself. And I think when anything stops being fun, you need to like reassess and work it out. And it didn't feel fun. It felt like a chore.
that's yeah, that's fair enough. I get like I totally get that. Um
They were fun whilst I was making them. Like I don't know how many you watched, but like the abandoned theme park, dude, that was like the maddest day I've ever had out skating.
I think I've watched all of them. I think.
Yeah, I drive down to Cornwall and I check out a few theme parks.
Right.
And the last one that I got to, I thought was abandoned, but it was basically just shut for winter.
Right, okay.
Skating around this like theme park for like 2 hours. I go on like a little pedal roller coaster on my own. I find rails in there. Like have a full session, man. And then when I get out and drive home, it says opening in March, like revamping. And I'm like, oh shit. But somehow got away with skating in a theme park for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Um I do know what you mean. Like I love making them because I'm like, I'm going out on these like solo adventures anyway. Might as well just document it. And when I'm skating, I'm all like, I dislike skating on my own so much that I just talk to myself. Or like I mess up a trick and I'm like, that was shit, did it? And I'm like, might as well just like shove the microphone on and like film it. But I do know what you mean. I hate every other element of it. Like posting on social media, hate it. Don't even like with the wheel scene Instagram. I don't really upload that much just because I can't be bothered. Putting video covers for YouTube,
Yeah.
literally my least favorite thing to do, and they all look terrible because I have no passion for it whatsoever. And like yeah, just the whole like promoting yourself. I'm like I just want to make the stuff. I don't want to actually do this like spamming people with it. I just want to make it, shove it out. But if you don't, it doesn't go anywhere.
You've got to give it that traction to see it.
Um,
But you're
but
right. It does make a solo skate so much more exciting because you feel like you have your audience there to talk to. It does sort of, to me, it did change the dynamic of going out on a solo skate.
yeah, I just feel like you like give yourself like little goals and you push yourself and you're like, right, so in the last video I did this, so I'll probably need to like level this up a wee bit and you like tell yourself, oh like, oh, shove a couple of new tricks in here. And yeah, for me, being yeah, gonna be 42 this year, it's just like a little kind of another little push when you're on your own to be like, right, like don't just do top acids and unities. Like
But especially because you're making the content, you want it to be good. Like if you weren't filming, you could just do top at it. But you're like,
yeah.
I'm going to give it a little put. I'm like, yeah, try and go the extra mile with it.
But then it's also backfired. I'm like, oh, I'll just do this kink reel. That'll be a nice little thing. And then like absolutely work myself. And I'm like, man, there's no one to even carry me back to the car. Fuck.
I like the clip of you trying to royal that rail the other day, man. You're just like battling and battling and battling. Like you give it your all, man.
That was, yeah, I was, no, that was, so I'm like obsessed with Google Maps.
Yeah.
And every day I'll just like I'll go on Google Alerts and be like, when's a new council estate being built, or a new school, or a new church, and like find them all, or I'll be like, or I'll drive past a town, say like from visiting a relative, and I'm like, I've never been in there. And I'll go straight on Google Maps. I found that rail on Google Maps, but couldn't confirm A, how high it was, or the run up. I just knew I was like, there's a path, there's a bin next to it, so it's got to be like you start becoming an expert in like ratios, and you're like, right, so when I'm standing next to a bin that height, it's normally about my hip. I can jump my hip height. That rail's about that height, so I could probably get on that. And then you get there and you're like, oh, there's a barrier to stop kids getting hit by cars. So I now need to like swerve 90 degrees to get onto the rail. And then you're like, yeah, as soon as you start skating, you're like, no one's ever skated this rail. So you're like, and then yeah, it was like when Scotland was going through that like heat burst. So it was like 25 degrees in the middle of the afternoon. I was on my way back from a skate park on the standard Omnis where I'd just got written off constantly. And so that's why my jeans were all like minging anyway, because I'd just spent most of the time like falling. And I was like, am I really going to do this? And it's an hour away from my house. And I was like, no, no, you know what? I've put my skates on and I've started trying it. So fuck this. I'm not leaving. No, no. And then that was an hour. And then I started getting to like the last one and I checked the phone and the phone had died. And I was like, you motherfucker. I was like, I'm putting in the work and you're doing this to me. You're doing this to me.
You should have had it.
um, So like all the comments underneath, like, oh, just keep going, just keep going. I was like, I did keep going. The phone did not keep going. The reason it stopped, and then they're like, why did you not just do it? And I'm like, cool. So then I tell everyone I'd done it, and they're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah. So I doubt, man, that thing was in the middle of nowhere, about an hour and a half from my house. Like, nah, I'm not going back to that. That's
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll leave that one.
we're putting that down as a loss. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I do feel you on it. Also, all the guys make whenever I try to like, I never include any of the other guys in like making the YouTube videos because they're all just like, nah, this is bullshit. Like, I don't want to enter it, and I would never even think of asking. But yeah, whenever you like set up the tripod and you're filming at the session, they're like, oh, here's Dave making these stupid little YouTube videos.
I think that's part of the reason it was just blading with Bill, not blading with Bill and his mates, because like it was just about going out and doing some shit that people wouldn't really want to do.
Yeah,
Like some of the factories that I ended up in, like no one wants to go and try and skate that.
yeah. Yeah,
But
does that as well. Yeah, you have these like sessions and people are like, yeah, man, don't ever invite me when you go to that. Like that's crap. That's not even a spot. Why are you?
it was fun because it made me do stuff that I didn't normally go out and do. Like it created these ideas that were just a bit different from just going to skate park or a grind block. Um, that's where like the imagination came in, and like that was the fun side of it, is going and doing stuff that like really pushed me. Like uh, trying to do 50 negative tricks, dude. I suck at negatives, but like just little challenges like that were really fun. Really like made you use your head a bit more, and yeah, it just helped you develop as a skater. I think doing stuff like that.
Nice. So how did the What's Brewing thing come about? Because I remember that started like with Mark and like a random. Pretty sure the first episode was like in the middle of winter and you guys are skating. I think it was that ledge and oh, I want to say Torquay or something. It's
Yeah,
next to the water. It's the one that Chris ended up falling in. That was the first episode, right?
yeah, December in Taunton, yeah, which is
Yeah, Taunton, yeah. And I remember being like, this is depressing as fuck. Like, look at these guys just skating in the cold, like wearing like big ass winter jackets and gloves and shit. The ground's wet. The spot had like obviously never been waxed. You could see like locals telling you guys off for skating. And I was like, man, this looks like the most depressing session ever. And it was like the first episode.
I mean, dude, that is the UK in winter, right? You're not lying.
Um, and then some of the ones yeah, some of the episodes when it's like, see when it starts raining, you guys end up in a car park skating a curb. I'm like, man, just turn the camera off. Like the session's dead. Just turn the camera. Don't document this. The amount of times you guys have ended up in an undercover car park skating a curb is hilarious.
It's the UK, man. That's the difference with Jumbo and what's brewing. Like it's so chalk and cheese in that sense, isn't it? But dude, it's fun. I think what Mark has created is really good. Um, those sessions we wouldn't get together like that if What's Brewing wasn't a thing. I don't think.
That's what I really like. Like some of them, so yeah, some of them it's obviously just a handful of guys, or you visit a town and they've got a couple of local skaters. But then I've seen episodes where it's like in Bristol and stuff like that, and there's like 20 skaters, and I'm like, it's really cool that the videos kind of built up this community where people are like, oh, when's the next meet? Or like there was one you did in, was it Cambridge or Reading?
Yeah, there
where,
was a
where,
Reddit.
where those ledges are, and like you could tell that a bunch of people like traveling, like Blake Bird and stuff like that was there, and Thingy's kid was there, Jamie's kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Charlie, mate.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, that's really awesome that it's basically like the videos and the YouTube channels kind of is like created that session. That's I thought that was really cool.
I mean, we all know each other anyway, don't we? But it does bring sessions together where it's not your expected group of people, if you
Yeah.
will. And I think that is the best thing about What's Brewing. It's just getting people out and getting people together again. Um, yeah, it's cool what he's created, and it kind of just organically happened. We were out, we were filming for the day in Taunton. It was December, it's freezing, and Mark sort of daydreamed this idea of doing something fly on the wall style, just documenting it, no music, not cutting out too much stuff, and it literally just sort of formed that day. And since then, it's just grown. Done one every other week basically, and it's all an adventure. You never really know what you're getting yourself in for in a day of What's Brewing.
Um, yeah, I also really liked it. I didn't know that Sam Davies was still skating that much.
It
And
sounds
I obviously remember him from when like he used to be sponsored by Razors and he was in Closer and he was like the team manager for Razors UK. And I was like, man, that's cool that he's still going. He's still, I mean, he was up in Glasgow at the weekend. I annoyingly they had the Curb Cartel jam in Glasgow, and on Friday night I got a fever and just sweated through my clothes for like 24 hours. And I was like, cool. There's literally a street comp happening like 15-minute drive from my house, and I'm bedbound. Great. Um, so missed all of them. But yeah, like and seeing like Chris Hallam still coming out skating once in a while. Obviously, he used to take photos for Unity magazine back in the day, and then like Ollie Jones just proven that he's an absolute machine and can true spin top soil literally any rail. And then he came up here and did true. Yeah, it's like true spin topsides on. I think that's probably the best true spin fish brain anyone's ever done down St George's Cross, and that used to be like Chaz Sands play rail essentially. Even Chaz didn't do them as good as Ollie did at the weekend. That was not. Although I think Chaz might have full cab true fished it,
I think you're right. I was going to say that.
but he did the late grab. Ollie doesn't do the Ollie grab straight away. Chaz did the 2 point grind kind of thing. So so I feel like he might win it in that. I also think Chaz might have full cab true misfitted it as well though.
I think he did full cab through Mistral, full cab through top acid, full cab through top soil.
Yeah, he's basically I've taken like a bunch of people to that before, like over the years, and they're just like, no, this is Chaz's rail. There's no point, we're not even touching this. Like this is like this has been written off. But yeah, Ollie gave it a good scene to it the weekend. Um
You're right, man. Like those boys still going hard. Sam, I mean, I skate with Ollie and Sam a lot. We've got to Bristol for a lot of weekend film and stuff. And they're just fun to be with, man. They're pure street skaters. All they want to do is just go out and find stuff. They're up for traveling. They're up for going to different cities. And I mean, as you can see from the Curve Cartels, they're going about. But yeah, they're fun. And I think Sam's your age, maybe a year younger, but he still goes hard, man. And he's been good, like consistently for a long, long time.
yeah, yeah. He's
Same as
got the
Ollie, who's just an absolute machine. Like best handrail skater in the UK, I'd say. Like he is just unbeatable, and he has been for a long, long time.
the hops are ridiculous because that fence that he stalls in St George's Cross, I am 5'11",
Yeah,
and that thing comes up to my chest.
well,
Like I would not. Like that's
Yeah, that happened.
not realistic. I'm like looking at like what? Like jumping onto that from flat to then going onto the rail. I was like, okay, even if you're tall, that doesn't explain being able to jump that high because you've still got the extra body weight to carry and the height. Like that's not being tall doesn't mean you can jump.
Ollie is literally an athlete, dude. Like he has the box jumps at home. Like he is the meaning of an athlete. And sometimes when I'm skating with him, like I can jump high, but he's like, dude, let's try and jump up this 8 set. I'm like, no. How is this going to be fun for me? All I'm going to do is stub my toes, and you're just going to spring up it. It's like
Yeah, I don't want to smash into the stairs at speed. Thanks. No, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks.
be impressed, and then we can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
they're really fun to skate with. Like I got a lot of time for those guys.
yeah, because a couple of the guys up here were like, "Man, Ollie's really good at skating hand draws." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's less impressive when you see him do the exact same trick on every single spot." I'm like, he literally, I was like, "That's just his those. He's not even pushing himself. Those are like his like safety tricks."
Just so right. It's almost the straight. Like he just he'll do a back rail, a top sole, a unity, maybe a front Nugan. Then it's like true top sail, salve, true top horn, true fish. And then if he's feeling fruity, he'll start doing like the half cab stuff. And he just will do it. He
Yeah,
might miss, but when he misses, it's so safe. Like so safe.
yeah. You can tell it's just like it's not. He doesn't consider it risk. Yeah.
But he put so much work in over the years, dude. He skates every single day, basically.
I do remember that. I remember like the last time I spoke to him and I was like, so like what do you like what does your week look like? What's your day? And he's like, no, I literally skate every day. And I'm like, every and he's like, every day. And he told me about his routine where he just like he goes to like his local park and just works through every trick in both directions. And that's his warm up. Like literally every trick he can think of both ways. And I was like, okay, so you're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it shows though, right? It really does
I
show.
mean, when you put in the work like that, it definitely, yeah, it definitely shows. Yeah.
I can't remember what the figure is, but he did something like 2,500 days in a row without a single day off. He did like 4 or 5 years without a day off.
Wow. Yep. Nope. That's a note from me. So right, what was right? Talk me through some of the memorable moments then. So what was this? I mean, there's been some definite low points in what's brewing where I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I just watched that episode. That looked like the worst session on planet Earth. What's been like the worst one you have had or like the worst place you have went to and you're like, whose fucking idea was this? They were like, there's nothing here. There's nothing. Like, did anyone do recon? Like what is happening here? Because there's some ones where you skate and I'm like, these motherfuckers are skating an unwaxed bench.
I suppose that's what the bottom line is when we went to Minehead.
Right.
Minehead is where Butlins is. Probably haven't heard of it. It's like some.
Everyone's heard of Butlins.
Butlins, okay, cool.
If you're from the UK, you've heard of Butlins.
Cool. I didn't know if you were too far for that. So yeah, it's where Butlins is. It's like a rough and ready seaside town. We all kind of knew that there wasn't much there to skate anyway. But then, like, as the day went on, it was kind of like, okay, like, this is not being. It's always fun because you're with your mates. And I think it is healthy to try and, like, make something from nothing sometimes. But it's also way more fun to skate somewhere that has proper spots.
Yeah. Like, does Mark ever like I'm assuming he's got a group chat and he's like, right, I've found this in Google Maps. This, and this could have potential. Let's go and check it out. Or is he just like literally leading you guys blind, going, we've picked this town. No one's ever been there. I've never been there. Let's go and see if there's something to skate.
I mean, at the start, it was very much like, yeah, let's just try this place out. Whereas now, the group chat's funny, man. Like sometimes it's like, okay, I thought about this location, and we're like, yeah, that's like a village with nothing around it for 20 miles. So we're like, let's see some spots, Mark. And then like some of the spots we put in, we're like, yeah, dude, I said spots, not like not like four sets. But they are always fun. I think we could go to a tiny little village and still have fun because we are together and we're making the most of it. But I think the views in the videos show which ones are more entertaining for the viewers. Like the Bristol ones always get a good amount of viewing. I'm pretty sure the Reading one got a lot of views because the bigger cities that are built up are going to have the better
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, it is an adventure every time. That's kind of part of the fun.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they've all been good. Even the Minehead one was enjoyable.
I can't
But
remember the episode, but there was one where you guys were literally just jumping over a pile of dirt, and I was like, "This is bullshit." This is like I would like if the session descended into that, I'd be like, "Nah, fuck you guys, I'm going home."
I'm trying to. I don't think I was on that one. I think that I know the one you mean.
There was one where they literally just like shoved a bit of wood down and were like jumping over some like dirt, and I was like, "Nah, this sucks, guys. I'm sorry. Nah, come on." Like if my friends did that to me, I'd be like, "Nah, I'm literally just gonna go home and find something near my house to skate."
The thing is, I think I've probably done similar stuff with some of my YouTube videos, but at least I'm not taking 20 other people along with me on that ride.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I guess it is the nature of skating in the southwest. Like we aren't as fortunate as places like London. Um, London has an endless abundance of like incredible stuff to skate, whereas down here, like there's not that many cities about. I mean, you have to travel for them basically. Um, I mean, where I'm in Plymouth. The closest city would be Exeter and Truro, and they're both like at least an hour away.
yeah.
So maybe we're just slowly running out of places to visit, and we need to start like edging up a bit.
Moving further east, moving, yeah, starting to move inland. But I do what I like about it is it's also given like certain people a kind of platform that yeah previously they didn't have. Like people like Nico. Like I don't think Nico would have ended up getting maybe hooked up by razors if it wasn't for regularly appearing and stuff like What's Brewing and getting himself out to comps and stuff like that because he is very good and like it just didn't feel like anything was going to happen with him for a while. And then it kind of seems like he's starting to get a little bit more recognition, which is nice because he's very impressive. Um, and it's also cool seeing like female skaters in it as well, like Sophie, who's like, I think that'd probably be my biggest criticism about like What's Brewing. I want to see more footage of Sophie skating street,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
um, or park because she is really good. Yeah,
yeah. I think you're right. It has given people a little bit more of like a limelight into the scene. Um, Nico's probably started the show realistically. Like he's our golden boy. Um, but yeah, like the beauty is anyone can come out on the session as well. It's not selective. It's very much like anybody is welcome, any ability. Um, it's just about getting people together. Um, yeah, I never really thought about it like that, but it probably has helped give Nico a little bit of a push towards races and that as well.
Andrew
Um,
Speed as well. Like Andrew Speed. Whenever you see him, so I didn't. Apparently, I've met him before, but I don't actually remember this at an LDN jam a couple of years ago. My friend Elliot was saying, "Oh, we spoke to that guy before." I must have been drunk. I don't remember. Um, but then every episode, it's just like no matter what the spot is, he's like the first person to hit it, like every time. Or like you go by a kink rail and he's like, "Yeah, I'll give that a topsoul." Or like, and I'm like, I've messaged him before, being like, "Captain Topsoul, is there just like in it, and you won't just like chuck yourself down?" And he's just like laughed it off. But like he's like I knew very little about him before What's Brewing, and now I'm like, holy shit! Like that guy can hold his own.
well, my new nickname for him is Wales' biggest lunatic because he's he's mental, man. Did you see the Plymouth episode where we put the P rail off the big metal container and he just UFOs off it?
Yeah,
Disgusting, man. Like we put it up there for a joke, and he's still up there. He's like, "Yeah, cool. Like, surely you're not going to do it." And he just does stuff. He just looks at it once and does it, and like I really respect that about him.
yeah, he does give off that vibe of being like just a bit hyperactive little kid kind
Yeah,
of
well, that was,
energy.
I'm going to do it.
He's like, I'll give that a go. Yep, you get a packet. Give me a packet of sweets. I'll do it. Right? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
His top's always unmatched, dude. He's literally just like, yeah,
That's it. I'm like, man, all the stuff you're like doing these down, and I don't think I've seen you rack once. I'm like, I split a top so like one at least 1 in 5. Like, how are you not? How are you not getting taken out?
solid. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like it's brought a few people, yeah, a bit more exposure, I suppose, in that sense, because not everyone wants to play the Instagram game, and not everyone is active on there. And I think I'd only skated with Speed once or twice before What's Brewing, and now we see each other like, yeah, really often. So it's created new friendships as well in that sense. Um, but yeah, I think it's a really good thing what Mark's doing. I think it's really healthy. The UK scene. It's definitely getting more people together. It's definitely inspiring people to get out. Obviously, we've done a little bit of merch and stuff as well, which is fun. Yeah, and it feel like it's come a long way in the last 2 years that we've been doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so when you're not doing all these side hustles, I feel like you're a man of many a man of many income streams. I've seen tattooing, I've seen house murals, I've seen buying and selling of skate gear. I feel like you're a little bit of a Dell boy, Billy. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, I guess so. Tattooing is my main income, but I don't work loads. I like to take my time off to skate and just to be able to like live a nice quality of life. So I work 3 days a week, and yeah, I do little side things. Definitely the buying and selling of skates is something that we spoke about recently.
Sorry about that. Did you hear that phone call there?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Ah, good. My phone just rang and it decided to come through the laptop there. Sorry. That's the professional outfit that I'm running here. Yeah, so I'm assuming you just tattoo for yourself then, you don't work in a studio.
So this is my studio. My studio is in my house.
Right, okay.
That's quite cushy. Everything's sort of based here at my home, which is nice. Um, yeah, I buy and sell skates a little bit, um, which isn't like a massive money maker, but it's something that also keeps me busy. Um, I deal with the OG stuff as well. I'll source out some old Scenic stuff, which I know I can make a bit of money on, and sometimes I find stuff for people. And yeah, I decided to take the responsibility of doing the merch for What's Brewing.
Okay.
Um, Mark is pretty flat out with the filming, the editing. He's also got 2 children and works a 9 to 5. So I offered to do the designs and sort of take that load off him and get the production stuff done, and send it out and make the big cartel and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of my contribution towards it, and yeah, I quite like just doing a bit of production with the film and stuff. It's been quite fun.
So what was the random house mural stuff then I saw you posting about?
Where did you see that? Sorry.
I think it was like last year. You were like painting the side of someone's house and you were
Oh,
doing like,
bumblebees, maybe.
huh?
Was it bumblebees? I was painting some bees on someone's house.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think yeah. So I've been a graffiti artist since quite a young age as well.
Okay.
I don't really advertise, but I do get some like commission pieces sometimes, like kids' bedrooms. The thing that you saw on the side of the house, I've done like murals in gardens and stuff like that. But yeah, just whatever floats my boat, really. Whatever comes in, I like to stay busy and
Right, okay.
money flowing. Yeah,
So what's is as in I feel like you're like one of these guys where you're like just save up enough money to like keep things stable for a while or like go off because I saw you like there was a while you were just disappearing on skate trips for like weeks on end.
yeah, yeah. I work enough to live. I'm not greedy with money. I'm not driven by having a big number in my bank account. Like if I can feed myself, feed my cat, um, have like all the stuff I need to skate and go on some trips, I'm happy. I'm very much like set with that. I think being rich is having like freedom in life to do what you want to do and just have time to live, basically, to look after yourself and do the important stuff.
Okay. So what are you gonna how are you gonna busy yourself and not go mad now that you're not saving up money for a skate trip? You're that's on hold for the foreseeable future.
it's kind of difficult. When I first did my leg, I thought, cool, at least I can still work. I've got my hands, I can do what I need to do. But because it needs to be elevated, I'm actually going to be off work for quite a bit longer than I think. Um, I don't know exactly what that time frame is, but it means that I am dipping into my money, my saving money. I wanted to go to Thailand this year for like a good 6 week trip. So I've been dipping into that. I'm going to buy a new camera, do a bit of photography, still get out on the skate sessions, try and sort of focus on still being a part of the sessions, but obviously, yeah, more as a spectator. Um, and I don't know, man, just try and keep myself sane, try and keep myself active, try and stay part of the skate scene as much as I can. Um, Maybe make a few edits of the guys and do some YouTube stuff. And,
I was about to say, might be time for a new Matt Smith section.
funny you say that. Funny you say that.
Like, Matt, you know how you've been dragging your arse and you haven't brought it in a while? Well, now that I'm incapacitated, it's your turn to get in front of the camera, my friend.
Yeah, Matt's actually, I'm telling people this, he's actually expecting a child very soon.
Okay.
Really cool. So yeah, that'll be happening. But he's already been speaking about doing another one. He's very much like, I think I've got one more in me. Like, I think I can do it. So I think it was only last week we spoke about this. So yeah, quite excited for that. Smith is like, yeah, one of my best friends. We spent a lot of time together. He's really close to me. He's really good guy and really good at skating. So I think we're quite a good combination. And we are loosely planning another trip to America. So that should kickstart things. That's all I'm going to say. So watch this space.
All
Don't
right.
expect anything too soon. But yeah, definitely something I'd like to work with again.
Right. We've got a few questions and then I'll let you go because this is literally the start of your day as soon as I find them.
We've got nothing still got a broken leg.
What have we got? What have we got?
So is this questions that are sent in by Patreon members and stuff, or
Yeah.
oh,
Right. Peter
sorry.
Toth. Right. This has already been answered. Why blanks? So you've already answered that. You bought a pair anyway. Um. Oh, I've already right. This is going to be easier. How was it filmed with Cavan? We've already answered. We've already asked that. Hook up rollerblade. Oh, so this I didn't actually know this. I remember you skating. I remember you skating Aeons, but someone it's an Andrew. I can't remember the second name. They're on the Patreon. Andrew, and apparently it is someone who skates for you guys once in a while for the What's Brewing. Um, don't know his second name though. How did the hookup with Rollerblade come about after trying to get on USD for a while? So were you like actively trying to get on USD?
Um, yeah, I guess in a roundabout way. Um, that's by the way, that's Andrew Moorish,
Right. Okay.
from Exeter. Another really nice guy. Comes out on the sessions. Yeah, dude, absolutely loves rollerblading. Um, I guess I was kind of trying. I spoke to Sam a little bit about it. I basically approached quite a few companies about working with them. Um, just companies that I sort of respected and that I had time for and liked what they did. So yeah, I was trying for a bit, but they kind of, I think at the time they were actually making the team smaller. I think they asked a few people within a few months that we sort of spoke about it. I think they also, like Sam's quite a close friend of mine as well. I think they also tried to not murder with Gord, but speak to Gord about the possibility of me moving over to that as well,
Right.
which
Okay.
wasn't something that was really discussed with me, but I'm quite sure they approached Frankie regarding that and showed them some stuff from me. Uh, Frankie made it quite clear. This is just what I've been told that they were looking for younger people,
Okay.
which is fair enough. I'm 36 now, so I'm not the youngest. And now they've taken on people like Lil Nolan from Holland, who's an absolute ripper, and yeah, a friend of mine, lovely guy, and incredible for his age. So yeah, that period definitely happened, and there were sort of talks about it. Um, and it would have been nice to get free Aeons because, like I said, I was absolutely tearing through them.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't really anything that sort of influenced me to change skates or anything like that. I was quite happy just sort of, yeah. Um, I think once you get sponsored, you realise it doesn't really change anything. Um,
Yeah, I've kind of get this.
and it doesn't really mean anything like that. It's really nice to get some recognition, and
Yeah,
it's really nice for a company to want to support you and help you out, and then obviously vice versa, you promote them and stuff. But it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't really mean anything. Just like the number of followers you have on Instagram, it's all irrelevant in a way. Um, and like I don't think it's until you get sponsored that you sort of realise, oh, actually, it doesn't really change an awful lot. And like I say, I really appreciate it. And it's a nice thing to have, but yeah, skating's about having fun. And I think that is the most important thing. So,
fair enough. You've basically answered all those questions. Um, oh, you've kind of answered this, but I'll ask anyway. Tyler Patel asked, "What's the favorite spot you've been to in Blading with Bill? Is that the abandoned theme park?"
I'll be honest, the spots in there actually sucked. Like, it's a theme park. It's not a street spot or a skate
Yeah.
park. Like, it was clutching at straws. Um, Good question. I think it's probably going to be the swimming pool episode, which was episode number one.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
he built that concrete quarter pipe a few years before in there. Have you ever seen the dolphin pool edit that Mark Warner made a few years ago? It's only like 2 minutes long, maybe.
I must have.
So that's filmed in that exact swimming pool. But
Yes, because I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking I've seen it in a couple. I've seen you skating it in a couple of things, so that must be it. Yeah.
that was when it was completely fresh. When I went to film for Blading with Bill, it was so trash. But that, to me, stuff like that is where the fun's at. That's like a really small taste in a way of like a California bowl, even though it's nothing like one. Like for me, skating a swimming pool in the UK is quite a rare thing, quite fun. Um, that thing is really really difficult to skate, I should say.
Yeah, did not
So,
look.
you've got the quarter pipe to the coping, and then it's just dropped into a corner with no landing.
That's it. Like everyone's like, oh, like abandoned pools, and you're like, yeah, but it's not the same thing in the UK because it doesn't have transition.
We had to build the transition to make it something. But
Yeah,
I like a challenge, and that pool coping dude is like so dreamy. I've been back a few times to try and take some, but it's like solidly like it's in there. And now that place is like really heavily boarded up and security. But I would have loved to have made a DIY ledge out of that stuff. It
I was about
was,
to say, surely you can just source the. Surely there's got to be like companies that just provide that tiling.
dude, it's like mad money.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, like really, really mad money. Yeah.
Because I've deep dived into like geeky stuff like that before. Like, see when you see those like school benches in the States, in America, like the long kind of plasticated benches, or like even the metal ones, and you're like, man, they're sick. They're basically like purpose built skate spots. And then you look them up and you're like, wow, that's like 600 quid for like a bench.
Or have you seen the mini ping pong tables in Barcelona?
Yes.
Dude, I've like Googled them and I'm like, need one in the UK. That is a good spot, and they're mad money. They're like £1,000.
Wow.
Well, have you seen Mark Treble's ledge that he's built at his house?
Yes, the like it's kind of like
That's curved.
it's essentially pool coping, yeah.
Dude, that stuff was expensive.
Right.
It's a good couple £100, and it's a fairly short. It's a sick ledge, but it's fairly short. Um, yeah, that stuff is pricey.
Plus, yeah, if you start like breaking bits off as well and like maintaining it, and yeah, yeah, fair enough. Nathan Bentley asks if your technical vision on skates is impacted by your technical tattoo design. So I guess you like it seems like you're a big fan of like dot work and stuff like that and like geometric shapes. So uh yeah, he's basically saying, do you see any like connection between the two?
Uh, First of all, I'd like to say big props to that guy. Man,
He's another like solo warrior. Like the stuff that he goes out and skates, and I'm like, dude, that's terrifying. You're just out there on your own on that.
he only really solo skates. I've seen him with like other people like one or two times. He is like he is so far out of the box, like you can't even see him. Like the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Whenever I've spoke to him, I'm like, dude, do you have friends? Like you're like you're making me concerned. And he's like, oh yeah, no one. He's like, no one skates here.
I'm fairly creative with sports and that, and I look at stuff he does, and I'm like, I never would have seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, like the combinations he comes up with, and I'm like, dude, that's just asking to break your shins or like mangle your leg round that, like the way like goes from like really intricate trick ideas. I'm like, man, you're asking for trouble.
So much respect for that guy, man. And the fact, like, he does all that on his own and still makes sections, which are, for me, like, there's not many people that could get away with making a section where it's all on tripod
Yeah.
or actually enjoy it. He's got a way of making it as good, if not more enjoyable, than a fully filmed section. Um, yeah, mad respect for that guy. What was the question again?
He's basically saying like, do
Right,
you think there's any connection between like I guess like your kind of creative aspects with like the art and tattooing and skating?
yeah, I guess so. I guess I like the fine details and stuff. I like it's a tough one to answer, but I definitely would say there's a link there. Um, yeah, yeah, and well, his stuff inspires me. Dude. Like that's a massive part of it. Um, yeah, there's definitely like a crossover there. Yeah, but it's very much a different thing, like the tattooing and the skating. It's a different type of creativity, I'd say. Um,
I've like I think it's I find it more about like music and skating. Like I literally cannot listen to a song or hear a song on the radio or something and not think about how it works in the context of a skate video. But it's now also ruined skate videos for me because I've realized that I don't know if you do this as well, like as someone that like films and edits their own stuff. I will regularly be watching a skate section and find myself, even it doesn't matter how interesting it is, doesn't matter how much I enjoy it. I find myself like drifting off and like thinking about what I would do if that makes sense. So like you're watching someone, you go, oh, that's a really cool. You like recognize an obstacle that you're like, oh, I know of one of those, and then you start thinking about what you could do, and then you're like, I've just missed like the last 3 minutes of it, and then you go back to the start and watch it again, and you're like, oh, I really like what they did with like that. Mark Moreno's got one where he times a drum fill to doing a stair ride. And I mentioned it to him and I was like, dude, I love that. It was like a Nirvana song. And it's just as he's hitting the stairs, like the guy hits all the toms. And I was like, stuff like that just like sticks in my head. And then you start thinking of like songs that you like and like weird bits of the song and what trick would work with that weird sound, whether it's like scraping a bit of metal or like just something that would go with it. And I'm like, and every time I watch a section now, it's just like I can't bloody concentrate in the section because you start thinking about how you would apply something to like whatever you're doing. It's very distracting.
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm very much the same. I I am music nerd, like 24/7. I don't do TV, don't do films. I have music on all the time, and yeah, you do. You just start thinking about how it would work with the skate edit. Some songs just click like that, don't they? Like you might not even have any clips, but you have a song, and you're like, I need to.
Yeah, you're like, I need to come up with stuff to use this.
I think when you're like that mindset with music, I think picking a song for a section, I think it makes things so much harder, like so much harder. I don't know if you have. I don't know if you ever struggle with finding music. Like I don't struggle with finding music. I almost find too much.
That, that's my. I've got a playlist. I've got a Spotify playlist that is now sat there for like I'm going to say 4 years and just keeps getting longer and longer. The problem is not having them. The problem is choosing which one out of the playlist I want to use.
I never thought about making a playlist though. That's a good idea. Just having stuff there ready to go. Yeah.
Well, the trick is I now, so I've got the playlist and then I put it on in the car or when I go to the gym and then I start wheedling them out and I go, which one would annoy me? So because you listen to the playlist so often, you go, oh, this song's actually started to grate on my nerves. Or there's this aspect about it that I don't like. Or you're like, I don't skate fast enough to justify this. So then you start like whittling them out. You're like, there's no like I don't do big enough tricks to justify these like breakdowns or whatever. You're like that needs to go as well. Like so, there's ways you can like weed them out.
But, yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes when you start editing, you might think the song's good, but sometimes it just doesn't quite line up, or it doesn't quite like have that vision that you had. Um, One thing that you mentioned earlier is what am I going to do to keep myself busy? I've just remembered that I've actually got a whole folder of clips of the guys, which I've sort of gathered over the last 2 years, like between filming stuff for myself.
Okay.
Within the next month, there will be like a probably like a 10-minute, 15-minute montage of like just guys from the southwest. So I'll definitely need to be selective with some songs for that. So yeah, it's something to keep me busy. Got a little edit to make, which is nice.
See, that's yeah. When you're in this kind of unfortunate situation, which yeah, if you skate long enough, that happens to everyone eventually. It's like really important to just have things or like goals to motivate yourself so that you don't just A get fucking depressed and B like you just kind of feel like you can keep being my main thing is like I get like really down if I feel like I'm not being productive. If I feel like all I'm doing is just working and I'm like, right, cool, I'm earning money, I'm like I'm stable or whatever, and you're like, but I'm not happy. Whereas if I've got these like stupid little video projects, even though they're not like successful and don't make money or whatever, I'm like, yeah, but they're fulfilling and they keep me busy and occupied. If I like the worst, I feel like the worst thing you can be is bored.
Yeah, 100%.
So like having stuff like that and having like if you're gonna like yeah dip into photography or yeah like even just making sections with footage you've got with your friends, if it's stuff to like apply your brain to and like busy yourself with, it's something.
It's a focus, isn't it? And it's something to work towards. And it sounds really dumb, but I've been sat on this footage of the guys for a little while, and I've thought several times like I'm never going to be able to make this edit unless like I fuck myself up and I have to like sit out for a few months. And lo and behold, like I'm here, fucked up. But like it really does suck being injured. I can't skate. It's midsummer. Like it is what it is. But I'm also just trying to take it as like, okay, maybe it's a sign that I just need to rest, to find joy in other little aspects of life, to reassess, to have like a reset, and just to work on myself for a bit. Maybe I'm normally so on the go, so non-stop. I don't get much time just to sit back and relax, sort of thing. So I'm trying to take it as a sign. It's just like a reset in that sense.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, I will go batshit crazy and yeah, start losing my mind a bit.
that's fair enough. Yeah, it's like you said, it could just be like the perfect time to kind of sit back and assess things and be like, right, is this what you want to keep doing, or is there like stuff that I don't know, make a list of like things, other things you want to achieve, or like are does it make you come back like rejuvenated, being like, right, no, definitely going all in this time now. Like it's and then it's just a matter of hoping that yeah, you do fully recover and things, there aren't any complications and stuff like that. Definitely.
I mean, I will be able to skate again. It's undoubtable. To what level? I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be doing roof drops and stuff again. So
Roof drops are overrated, right? Leave that to Stefan Brando. Actually, I don't think Stefan Brando can do them either. He's wrecked himself too. I think roofs are done for him too. Roofs are overrated.
yeah, maybe we'll leave the roofs out. But I think, dude, as long as I can skate and have fun, like that's all that really matters. And as long as I can get in a Nugan again, like I don't want to have to learn them switch. I've had a load of people like, oh mate, just learn them switch. I'm like, no, like that's not an option.
Man, I, I feel you on that. I've been trying to learn switch royales recently because I'm like, why? Like, you can do all the like if I can unity both ways, surely I can just bring that foot round and like. No, the weakness in my other ankle is I'm like, I must have like when you do normal royale, I don't even notice it. When I do switch royale, I'm like, it literally feels like my right foot is trying to hold up like a 20 kilogram weight that just will not support it. I'm like, I must have built this up over decades of just doing constant like, but as soon as you try it on the other foot, you're like, it feels like it feels like the most like foreign thing in the world. Like it just gives way every time, and I'm like, yeah, people who've got like that ambidextrous like skating thing where they can just do everything both ways. I'm like, you must have ridiculous strength in your tendons and muscles around that ankle.
You've got switch savannas, which doesn't make sense.
But to
That's
me, you're putting the same amount of weight on both feet every time, if that makes sense. Like there's no, it's not like, see when you do a royale, it's all on your left foot. And then if you do it switch, it's all on your right foot. So it's like, that is a completely like opposite thing. Whereas all unity tricks, your balance is on is the same amount on both feet in every position, which is why every unity variation feels normal to me. As soon as you get on the sole plates, you're locked in, you've got those two balance points.
I see what you're saying, but like Sab is quite a difficult trick to get into. You have to cross your legs over up behind yourself. You have to throw your body weight over on top. You have to go higher than the obstacle. To do that bit switch is what in my head is like.
Not when you started rollerblading in 1996 and Unity was like the trick of like everyone was just doing Unity tricks then, so I just learned them every way. And then Billy Preslin had his VG 8 or 6 or whatever. No, must have been later. 8, 7, whatever. Whatever Billy Preslin had his, and he started doing like the 270 back Savannas and I was like, "Oh, that's a new Unity." And like I started doing those. Well, obviously, loads of people were doing them before, like Dave Payne and Jose Cuervo and stuff like that. But yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's just another Unity. So it's not. Whereas when you start getting into true spin topsides and stuff like that, I'm like, I can back Savannah anything. I cannot true top porn to save my life, and it's literally a 90-degree foot movement.
It's like a similar trick, you're right? Yeah.
So like I was having this discussion with someone the other day, and they were like, "You can't three top so," and I was like, "Nope." And I was like, "I can 270 back Farv one way. I can 270 back Royale the other way." I was like, "I cannot three topsail either way." And I was like, "It's 90 degrees."
Yeah. That first just got to go deep. Yeah.
The foot just goes no. It's like it just won't. My brain just won't process it down to my foot to do that. It just misses and I slam every time, and I'm like, nope.
It's funny, isn't it? Like the switch and natural thing is so specific to each person.
Yes. There's also ones that as you get older, you realize like there's certain ones that just click for people, like top Mistrals. I can top Mistral both ways, easy,
Yeah.
because I learned how to Mistral on my Royale foot, but I've always sweat stanced on the same foot. So I just treat one as a sweat stance where I'm tucking the foot, and then I treat the other one as the normal Mistral. But any other like top sides switch and natural, I'm like, nope, that feels weird.
I've recently discovered that my negative mistrails, I've been doing it wrong my whole life. So normally I do it with the natural negative foot and the natural backside foot.
Yeah.
Perfectly. It's the same direction that I royale. And I made the 50 negative trick YouTube video. I thought, okay, I'm going to try a switch neg mistrail. It's switch grind, it's switch foot, it's switch everything. But it, for some unbeknown reason, it just works so much better. And now I cannot really do it natural. So that now is my natural, even though both feet are switch. It's one of these things that you're just like, that there'll never be an answer, but you just have to go with what feels right.
Yeah. You just figure it out. Yeah. I was like that with spins for the first like few years. I was like, man, finding 540 is really hard. And then one day, like maybe like 2 or 3 years into rollerblading, I just tried a five in the opposite direction. Went, oh, that's why.
But why 20 years into blading am I only finding that out now? Like, why couldn't I have found that out 15 years ago and then been able to work on it that whole time?
Yeah, yeah. It's that is what I like about rollerblading. You're just kind of constantly discovering something new about yourself, or like because I've been filming myself loads in the last few years. I was like, oh, I've just realized every time I air, I don't like ever tuck my legs. Like like you get like Sean Darst who like does just a straight air and just somehow manages to keep his knees up for like a strangely long amount of time. And every time I watch footage of myself, I'm like, as soon as you lift your leg, as soon as it reaches the peak, it instantly drops. You don't hold it at any point. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, that's really weird. But now that I know that I'm doing it, you can like correct yourself and like mentally tell yourself, right, they're up there, keep them up for a little bit. And I think that's why I recommend like everyone film yourself skating, even if you're never going to show another human being. Film yourself, and then you'll be like, you're doing a weird thing there. You can correct that. You can stop doing that. And it's a very good learning tool.
Yeah, for sure. And it just got me thinking about the switch and natural thing. Like my switch rails are basically non-existent as well. I don't do any H block tricks in that direction. So like my Nugans, my Royales, everything goes in the same direction.
Yeah.
Some people do like they will whale this way, but the feet stay in the same position, so they move in that way, and that baffles me.
I don't trust people that Royale and Favre with different feet. Like I'm like, that's not right. I don't trust that. I'm like like a Favre is an alley Royale. So why are you doing it on different ankles? That doesn't make sense.
But then, dude, how nice does a cab driver feel? Because both are what I like.
Yeah, I suck at this, so I don't know.
Like I can do the 270 salves both ways. That's strangely one of the easy switch tricks for me.
Right.
That's quite a hard trick, I would say.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they just work for me. But a normal salve, like you can do switch, I cannot do it at all. It has to be the 270 in.
Um, yeah, it's weird the things that just click in people's heads. Or like Richie Eisler says, he doesn't consider any trick switch. It's just left or right. And he's like, and it's just a matter of breaking it down from the point. He's like, it's not a new trick. You just break it down from the point of a trick that you can do. So like, I guess his explanation of like, yeah, 360 top. So he's like, oh, well, I can 270 backside. I can 270 backside Royale. He's like, all I need to do is move the foot 90 degrees. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, some of us can't move the foot the 90 degrees. That's the problem. Like, don't try and like simplify it, Richie. It's not that simple.
I was actually in a pub with Richie in London a few years ago. I don't know why he was in London. Just cross paths with him and Sam. So we are having a few beers and just talking skating and stuff. And Richie started touching on the fact that he does a lot of fasting.
Yes, I do know. I've remember him talking about this like intermittent fasting for like days at a time.
Yeah, he really swears by it, and he was talking a lot of science behind it. And I think he was almost saying like after a while you start sort of like your brain goes somewhere, like you sort of start reprogramming a bit. Okay? Then started talking about he was skating a P rail whilst at the end of like a 4-day fast or something. It was like, dude, I was in this crazy like energy state, and like my brain was firing at like 150%, and he was really like enthusiastic about what he was saying. And he was like, I just unlocked like another 15 switch tricks. Like it just felt the same both ways, and like I didn't even have to think about doing it or putting effort in, and like it was really mad just hearing him talk about this stuff. And like to me, I was like, it doesn't matter how long I go without food, none of that shit's going to get easy. Like a fast is not going to do that for me, but there's definitely something there. Like it works for him, and it was really interesting hearing him talk about this crazy long fast that he then ended up learning all these switch tricks at the end of.
Yeah. I don't trust him because he's a freak as well that does like hurricane topsides both ways. So I'm not taking his advice on anything.
Something like there's something, yeah, he's out of this world.
Yeah. Um, Also, imagine, I can't possibly imagine being that hungry, that like delirious, and then putting skates on and doing like physical exertion. I'd just be like, I think I'd just turn into like a puddle of liquid.
That's the last thing you need, right, at the end of a fast.
Yeah.
Eat rest and then you need to eat, not like go and try some really hard switch tricks.
Yeah.
But you're right,
No.
it's tornado sweat stands both ways. They just look identical.
Yeah, there's sections from like before he was even God, before when he was on like rollerblade, before he was even pro, and he was just doing them both ways on everything, like it was not, and it was like it was like sweat stance, top sole, top acid, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah. I've got nothing else, and I've been withholding the urge to cough, sneeze, and yeah, coughed my lungs up for at least 2 hours now, so I definitely need to go and do that.
No dramas, dude. Yeah, I'm bursting for a pee, so it's good timing. It all works out.
But it was awesome to speak to you, and I really hope everything goes well and you don't need surgery. But if you do, hope that goes well as well and that recovery isn't too long. But yeah, get yourself, I'm sure you will, get yourself productive in the meantime, and hopefully the time will pass faster.
Really appreciate it, dude. Thanks for the opportunity for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Anytime, man. Right. Speak soon.
Oh, cheers, dude.